largest oil companies and canceled a planned summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, signaling a renewed attempt to pressure the Kremlin without committing to deeper U.S. involvement in Ukraine's war. Trump said, "We canceled the meeting with President Putin. It didn't feel right to meet. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get," Trump said on Wednesday. "So I canceled it, but we'll do it in the future." Millions of Americans who rely on federal food benefits could be among the next casualties of that ongoing government shutdown. Approximately 42 million people in the U.S. who use the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program are in danger of not receiving aid as of November 1st, when the program's funds are expected to run dry. The U.S. Department of Agriculture warned state agencies in a memo obtained by Fox. More than 24 states have alerted residents to possible lapses in funding. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley reminded liberals on Wednesday of how many of them wanted historical artifacts destroyed when he was asked about the president's tearing down of the East Wing of the White House. CNN reporter Manu Raju pressed Hawley on Trump tearing down that portion for the ballroom, and the reporter, of course, suggested Trump was demolishing a precious historical edifice in the process. Hawley quipped, "The far left has supported the destruction of statues of U.S. historical figures in recent years. I made this point yesterday that I hear all of a sudden from my liberal friends that they're concerned about our history. Really? These are the same people who tore down every statue they could get their hands on in the last 4 years," the lawmaker said. Our quote of the day: "The secret of happiness is to live moment by moment and to thank God for all that He, in His goodness, sends to us day after day." St. Gianna Molla, and coming up, our saint of the day. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Capuchin Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com. It's the I Love Lee Show, starring Lee, with special guest Jim.
Come on, dude, pick up.
Jim's Bait Shop.
Very boomer funny of you.
Yeah, I thought so too. What's up?
What was the name of the live talk radio thingy? You know, that show with the holy guy you were telling me about?
Talk radio, holy guy. I'm sure I have no idea.
Yeah, the guy's name rhymed with Lurch. He was talking about being holy or something.
Talking about... Oh, you mean Mike Church. He's not trying to be holy.
Yeah, he's also not trying to fake being holy. Anyway, I just came from the Lila Rose 2-for-1 podcast promotion, and I didn't make a dent in one, much less get two, and I need something cool to listen to on the 6-hour drive I have coming up.
Well, the KingDude's got you covered there.
So, you got the deets?
No, but my dad had shingles.
Oh, you're such a boomer! Deets, as in details, as in where and when do I find this guy?
I'm not a boomer, and his podcast is hiding in plain sight at this thing called a website at crusadechannel.com.
Why can't he just have a QR code?
Yeah. Want me to come over there and type that in for you, Zoomer?
The Crusade Channel 4.0, one of life's simple pleasures.
Yeah, like hearing a tree beginning its journey to the paper mill.
Like paper over plastic, some things like the Crusade Channel.
And good old-fashioned live talk radio.
Never go out of style at crusadechannel.com.
Speaking of out of style, Jim, we need to talk about your hair.
What's the matter with my hair?
The 80s hair metal band's called, and they want their style back.
Really?
Our saint of the day is Raphael, one of the 3 archangels mentioned in the Bible. The others are Gabriel and Michael. Raphael performs all manner of healing in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The Hebrew word for doctor of medicine is Rapha, from the same root as Raphael. In the Roman Catholic Church, Raphael is the patron saint of travelers, young people, blindness, and druggists. The only scriptural information about Raphael is in the book of Tobit, where Raphael, in the disguise of a handsome teenager named Azarias, accompanied the younger Tobias on a journey to Media to collect some money lent by Tobias's father. Not only did Raphael protect Tobias during the trip and help him collect the money, but also saved him from being eaten by some unspecified fish and the binding of the demon in the desert of Upper Egypt. Raphael became known as a patron of the sick because of a medieval legend in which Raphael appeared to a holy hermit when a plague was sweeping Central Europe. Raphael told the hermit a new herb recently introduced by the Vikings to that area would cure the plague, and the roots of the herb were boiled to make a tea, which eventually cured thousands. A United Airlines pilot was injured and forced to make an emergency landing after a mystery object smashed the windshield of a Boeing 737 at 36,000 feet. Photos circulating online show the pilot's arms bleeding and bruised with injuries consistent with cut glass. Broken glass was also covering the dashboard and cockpit, and other photos show what appears to be scorch marks at the point of impact. It was United Flight 1093 from Denver to LA that had to make the emergency landing in Salt Lake last week, and online observers suggested the strike might have been a result of space debris or even a meteor. Birds, hail, and other objects tend to collide with planes at lower altitudes, so this reported incident is different in that the Boeing 737 MAX 8 was at cruising altitude far above those concerns. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop-ola, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up! Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Oh, well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem, I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why do they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
Yeah, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. That was an easy one. Anyone that didn't figure that one out is just stupid. Or willfully, blindly ignorant. What am I talking about? How could you not know that having sports betting institutions, FanDuel and DraftKings and what have you, sponsoring professional and college sporting events would not lead to cheating? We will talk about it. So Mike Church Show here on the Crusade Channel. We're live asking the question of the day.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, you know the answer.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
It's free phone.
Hope that is.
It's free phone.
Yes, it is. A free phone. Friday, yay. Day you're charged with the task of telling us what it is we shall talk about on the program by calling us. The only way Free Phone Friday remains free and works is if you call. (844-527-8723), 844-5-CRUSADE. Email address, same as it ever has been. I'm KingDude at protonmail.com. And Crusader Stadium chat rooms open at crusadechannel.com/chat. Wow, what a news bomb. It was detonated yesterday with the revelation that the FBI had conducted a sting operation and had busted NBA players and coaches for cheating, gambling on games that they were involved in and had a hand in the outcome. I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. As a matter of fact, we're going to play it probably in the second hour of the program. I'll play you the clip from, and this is just one of dozens. It's just the one this is the first one that we found when we search our own little archives. What is it? November the 14th, 2022. November 14th, 2022. It's 5 years ago. I came on in the first hour of the program, and I talked about the fact that I saw a DraftKings logo sponsoring a college during a college football game, and that the NFL was getting in on this, and in all the pro sports, and what this was ultimately going to lead to. Let me tell you something that they didn't talk about yesterday. Do you know how many people's lives have been ruined? How many men are now completely and totally addicted to sports gambling, which used to be illegal, and the only way that you could do it was through a mafia-based sports book, or by doing some goofy workaround where you get this stupid card and you fill it out, who you think is going to win what game on any NFL Sunday, and you get a point spread, which was kind of legal. Oh, you got the stats?
Just as of 2024, just last year, Americans wagered $147.9 billion in regulated sports gaming.
There you go. So, end result, the mafiosos, the mobs, have become legalized. Which is, the Cash Patel making the big announcement yesterday that these coaches and players had jumped in bed with Cosa Nostra, which is the biggest mob in the world. You think about it on the one hand, okay, so you're basically saying that what I told you was going to happen, and I'm not the only one, but what I told you was going to happen actually happened. You're surprised that the mob, that organized crime still exists. I'm not. Why are you? Why is anyone shocked by this? Organized crime, the mob, after the FBI supposedly put it out of business, the same FBI and the same federal government made it legal. Made it so that through the Interstate Commerce Clause, people could gamble on sporting events across state lines. Now, I'm not sure. I want to say that the Louisiana legislature was one of the last legislatures to sign off on this, and that we had to pass a bill to make it so that if you live in Louisiana and you're doing FanDuel or whatever, you're not breaking our gambling laws because, if they're going to have legalized organized crime gambling, well, then the crime families have to control it, right? Otherwise, it doesn't work. We all know what the play is here. There's nothing, there literally is nothing new under the sun. What is new under the sun is the fact that you then corrupted once kind of reliable and admirable American institutions. The NBA is toast. It should never recover from this. You mean to tell me that space alien looking weirdo who's the NBA commissioner didn't have a clue that games were being thrown, that spreads were being met, that players had? Colin Rugg, to his credit, it only took him like 3 hours after the news broke. He went and found a game that Rozier had played in. He went and found a game that he obviously bet on and showed. There were like 15 times during the game where the dude gave the game away. Dude passed the ball to an opposing player. Dude shot like 4 air balls. These weren't missed basket attempts. These were air balls. I think Maggie has it. Here, watch this. If you're watching on Zuyuboob, I mean, there's one. Okay, look at that.
How he passes.
He passed it right to the opposing player. This is just one game, one instance here. And what? This is This is an NBA final game. This is actually a championship game. The NBA is toast.
You can't shoot that many air balls in one game.
The fact that the National Basketball Association or the National Black Men's Basketball Association allowed sports gambling on their games, this is your fault. You did this. We talked about this yesterday. One of my favorite baseball players, and I know he died in ignominy, and it's a shame. And he shouldn't have done what he did. There's no excuse for it. But that doesn't take away from the years that Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, was the epitome of American baseball. I mean, he was one of, if not the greatest baseball player that ever lived. I mean, the man could have, they put him at third base. He probably could have played first base. I don't think it would have mattered where they played Pete Rose. He was one of the guys, Pete Rose was one of the guys. Where's Bert Starr at when I need him? To jump in and put baseball anachronisms in there. Pete Rose was one of the guys, rare guys that actually flirted with Ted Williams' batting 400 record. There were a couple of seasons where Charlie Hustle was batting 390 and I think one year that he during the course of one season, I want to say he actually got to 400. He was batting 400, and he he was an amazing baseball player, but he gambled on a game. They busted him betting on a game. And to its credit, what did baseball do? Major League Baseball said, this is not going to happen in our gentleman's sport. And so they banned him for life, removed him from any consideration that he could ever be in the Hall of Fame. He could have nothing to do with his beloved Cincinnati Reds organization. He couldn't be a scout. He couldn't be a third base coach. He couldn't have anything to do with him. So that they kicked him out of baseball. And why did they do it? They kicked Pete Rose out of baseball to let it be known to the American public that mom, apple pie, and baseball were still good and true. That's why they did it. What is the NBA going to do? And don't tell me that Rozier and what's the coach's name? I don't follow the NBA, so I don't know. Chauncey Billups. Don't tell me that Chauncey Billups is the only coach that did it. You and I, and brother, if you think that happened in the NBA, how many NFL players have dropped first down catches? And you screamed at the TV, how did he drop that? What happened? You can make parlays and bets on first downs. So this is institutional corruption. It is institutional rot. I just want to say something else about this while we're on the subject. So the one of the players involved, The okay, what's his name? It's not Damon Jones. It's the other one. I'm trying to read the story. Rosier. Okay, what's his first name? What's Rosier's first name? Who in hell wrote this story? They just go right into calling him Rosier. More than 30 people have been. Oh, Terry. Okay, Terry Rosier. Terry Rosier last year made $26 million playing professional basketball. I'm going to prove to you that incomes, money, and numbers like that mean absolutely nothing when it comes to moral character. Mean absolutely nothing about the real worth of a man. Terry Rosier made $26 million last year, cash money. In the history of his NBA career, he has made a total of $162 million. And you made a $60,000 bet? This is a sickness here. This is I am entitled. I am an NBA player. I am one of the elite black people in the world. There's nothing you can do to me. And $26 million is chump change. It's not enough. I must beat Whitey, and I must beat the system one more time.
But his estimated net worth is only $12 million.
How can he only be worth $12 million? Dude, I saw the stat. I was watching it yesterday. Dude has made $162 million. That was Stephen A. Smith that said that. $162 million in his NBA career, and he's worth $12 million.
Where'd the money go, buddy?
Where'd the money go? Can you guess? Vegas, gambling tables. And by the way, the other institutional rot here that you have to talk about, and if you don't talk about it, then why bother with the investigations and the stings? The mob is back. They were playing ball with the mafiosa institution or gang known as La Cosa Nostra. Ladies and gentlemen, these people kill people that don't do what they tell them to do. So once you jump in bed with the mob and you go like, wait a minute, so I can launder, all I got to do is throw this, shoot a couple of air balls or do this, and you guys, how am I going to get the money without the NBA knowing? Oh, you're going to go to a casino and you're going to gamble. This is how they did it. You're going to gamble and you're going to play poker and you're going to win. We're going to give it to you through our casino. Well, wait a minute. Well, I suck at poker. I've lost all my money to casino. Yeah, today's your lucky day. We're going to give you magic card readers. They actually gave Chauncey Billups card readers, glasses, that he could see what the other players' cards actually were, and he could see what the dealer had, so that he would know when he should stand. Well, you got to know when to hold them. There it is. Maggie's showing it to you right there. They paint the outside of the cards basically with some kind of a UV paint that is invisible to the naked eye. You can't see it. But if you have UV filter glasses on, then you can see plainly what is on the outside of the cards here. But to me, the worst part about this is how many professional and college sports athletes now have also taken the bite, and how many mob entities are like, you can't get out.
You don't get to pick when you leave.
You don't get to choose when you leave. You're going to throw this game coming up, Buster. You know, we've all seen the mob movies. To think that that's not the way it happens is just being naive. So there are more lives that are going to be ruined by this. I would say that for all the bravado of Kash Patel yesterday making this announcement, I would say that at some level, I bet you that they turn the other way and look the other way on other stings to send a message to the mobsters and the casinos that, hey, you know, we know you're up to it. By the way, I don't want to poke the bear too hard. Who primarily owns these casinos that ultimately own the sports books? If you answered Red Sea pedestrians, give yourself a gold star of David. You answered correctly. So they have bought political influence, not just to influence our international affairs. They have also bought political influence so that regulators in the states will look and in the United States will look the other way.
Didn't Pritzker just win $1.4 million at a casino?
Maggie's asking, what's the question?
I said, didn't Governor Pritzker just win $1.4 million at a casino a couple of days ago?
No, Maggie, come now. He's a great gambler. He's Kenny Rogers himself. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. According to the Daily Mail, that does the best American reporting on these sorts of things, x-ray tables to read cards, rigged shuffle. This is the other thing that was, I didn't know this. Did you know they have a gizmo inside the card chute? It's a camera that is actually inside the card chute that is actually filming the cards as they are dealt. Well, first of all, it films the cards as they are fed in to count the cards to make sure that you got the right amount and there's not a card missing. Then it films them on the way out so that the casinos actually know. Now, if you're trying to prevent cheating in card counting, I would understand this. So that the casinos actually know whoever's sitting at a poker table so they know who has what in what hand. Now that you know that, how do you know that there aren't dupes, that there aren't placebos, if you will, shills for the house that aren't being paid as full-time employees of the casino to sit there at that table, knowing they probably got a little earbud in, and they're being told, player number 4, you got to bait player number 4, he'll go for it. That are baiting players that think that they have that the odds or in this particular hand are in their favor, not knowing that the house knows all the cards that are on the table, and the house also has a player there that knows all the hands that are on the table, and that player is going to bait you. It's going to con you basically into playing a hand that's going to cause you to lose. I mean, this whole thing, when they came out with this and they started agitating about 10 years ago with this, and what did I say on that clip, that tape that we're going to play for you later on today? I said, how in the hell does, and it was a retired player, I said, how in the world does this guy sleep at night knowing, maybe it wasn't retired, was it LeBron James? Oh, we'll play the tape. Knowing that not only is the middle-class guy that makes $60,000 or $80,000 a year and has a family to support, knowing that this guy is paying you undue attention, he's ignoring his kids and his wife and his family so he can watch you. He's spending all kind of money to buy shoes he doesn't need and jerseys he doesn't need. Now he's going the extra mile, and he's also funding you basically navigating a way around the salary cap. He's also now basically paying part of your salary directly now and not even going to the games because he's gambling on them. There is no way this is going to end good for anyone.
Hey, Jim, remember when we used to be like Joe Walsh?
I like hit records, my fans, they can't wait.
Now we just talk about making hit records. Well, parody versions of hit records.
Join the KingDude and Jim Mosier as they pick apart the greatest parody songs of all time and the hits they were based on. It's Album Autopsy, exclusively on the Crusade channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be, and doesn't disappoint your mother.
Listen up, Red, White, and Dude Nation fans. Now, if you wear one new t-shirt this spring, then make sure you pour yourself into a new Mike Church Show neon microphone t-shirt. Printed on beautiful 100% soft cotton tees, the logo's so cool. It's even more cool than burning Unburdened by What Has Been stickers. Available in sizes medium through Alvin Bragg sized 3X. Be the best dressed dude at your cigar shop or the coolest dressed gal at Junior's soccer match. Order today at shop.mikechurch.com. Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Friday, October 24th, 2025. This report is brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub, a rub that's won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. In the market report, the Dow closed up 0.31%, the S&P was up 0.58%, NASDAQ also climbed 0.89%. Today, on October the 24th, National Food Day challenges us to explore, enjoy, and celebrate the food we eat. It's a day to focus on healthy, nutritious, and sustainable foods that are not only good for us, but for the planet as well. So today, you're reminded to eat real. So you gotta stay away from that fast food drive-thru. Today is National Bologna Day. It comes from its birthplace, Bologna, Italy. The original Italian sausage, mortadella, is finely ground pork sausage dotted with flavorful cubes of lard and often pistachios, a true Italian delicacy. It's also National Pharmacy Buyer Day. Our quote of the day: the secret of happiness is to live moment by moment and to thank God for all that He, in His goodness, sends to us day after day. Saint Gianna Molla. And our saint of the day is one of 3 archangels mentioned in the Bible, Raphael. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
On August 4th, the Crusade Channel will launch Crusade Channel 4.0, and you'll see why. What in the world?
Sorry, I was hanging up the new Mike Church 4.0 sign.
4.0? When did they even have a 3.0? Am I missing something here?
Buckle up, Speed Demon, because you'll soon discover why Crusade Channel 4.0 roars like the muscle car of media. Roaming past the competition with 0 emissions of boredom exclusively on CrusadeChannel.com.
If soy boys pretending to be girls want to compete against girls, the Mike Church Show suggests making contact sports of breastfeeding and C-sections.
A paragon of broadcasting virtue the Mike Church Show is on. I've never gambled in sports other than the Kentucky Derby. So pari-mutuel betting is legal here in Louisiana. And of course, being in a racehorse family, I've bet on the ponies before. I thought I was actually trying to be clever and crafty, though, by buying a racing forum and trying to handicap who would actually win a race. Now, if you're into FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM Bet, the worst one to me, how are you going to remain or obtain objective commentary and run ESPN Bet? How is it that a sports network obtained the legal right and authority to run basically a national casino while covering its same sports? But miniature play, they don't need to cheat. They get the pari-mutuel advantage. The hell that's an advantage and all it does. Well, apparently that's not enough. Apparently just winning what by law says that you could win, that's child's play. That's chicken. That's chump change. Everybody wants to beat the man. And the stories are going to come out, and now people are going to maybe take a second look. I hope they take a second, third, fourth, fifth look, and examine their conscience. Folks, if you're into this stuff, you are playing a game that you can't win. It's an addiction. And every time you have the temptation to bet on a first down or parlay this or whatever, just pull your rosary out and say a Hail Mary instead. Literally, throw a Hail Mary pass to save yourself, to save your marriage, and to prevent part of your income going into this monstrous, devilish fund that millionaires are trafficking in, while regular people are being impoverished. I said it when we talked about it 5 years ago, and every time we talked about it since, it is a moral abomination and an outrage. It shouldn't happen. It never should have happened. And the idea somehow that, well, the sports can recover for this. Where do they find out? And I don't know how deeply people have dug into this. Next time you see a FanDuel ad, what are you going to think? Sucker! You thought that you were actually, well, I know that player there, and he's good at three-pointers, and so I'm going to bet on him. But you didn't know that Cosa Nostra has his 4-year-old son with a gun at his head and has told him, you're not getting out. You will miss 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. And there's going to be a line where men can bet on the fact that you will supposedly make 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. You're going to miss all 4. You know, there's nothing new here. We've all seen the movies, the boxing movies, where the boxer is told you're going to take a dive, right? No, you're going down in the fourth round. And, of course, you say that you're not going down in the fourth round. Oh, Mick, I don't play that game. I'm not taking a dive from no one. The honest boxer says, no, he's not going to do it. Where does... They say that how many people were arrested? Well, here's the story. More than 30 people have been charged in connection with schemes involving illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by a mafia organization, La Cosa Nostra, including NBA star Terry Rozier, Portland Trail Blazers head coach, Chauncey Billups. Billups is charged in the indictment alleging a brazen scheme to rig underground poker games, while Rozier is accused of participating in an illegal sports betting scheme using private insider NBA information. The alleged scheme is said to have lured victims into rigged poker games, which took place in the Hamptons, Miami, Las Vegas, and Manhattan, by giving them the chance to play alongside former pro athletes, including Billups and Damon Jones. In an explosive press conference yesterday, attorney Joseph Nutella Jr. outlined how associates of New York's infamous Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families use X-ray tables and high-tech contact lenses to read cards. Nutella Jr. said the defendants used a variety of sophisticated cheating technologies, some of which were provided by other defendants in exchange for a share of profits in the scheme. So if you can't figure this out, what basically happened is that the players and the coaches agreed to throw games or throw instances in games and to do things that should be unpredictable to make them predictable. Then the syndicate, the racket, could go in and bet at the major sports books knowing the outcome. And then someone would cash the bet in. It just couldn't be them. So how do you get the money to the players and the coaches? That's the ruse. Okay, well, how do they figure out how to do it? Well, it's not illegal for, maybe it should be, it's not illegal for professional athletes to go to casinos and gamble. So here's what they figured out. The mob owns the casino or owns access to the casino. So they said, you're going to go to this casino on this date. You're going to sit at this table. And we're actually going to make it a big VIP hoop-de-doo event. And these big players are all going to come. And you're going to sign autographs and all that. And you're actually going to win, too. And so they rigged the game by giving the X-ray cards and the card reader machines and what have you to the coaches and the athletes, so that whatever the amount of money it was that they were supposed to win, that they couldn't have won because they couldn't legally bet on the game, right? They got their payoff at the casino. Quite the racket, isn't it? There was one instance, if I heard this correctly, listening to Will Kane yesterday, and I'm trying to remember who it was that Will had on. Will Kane said that in one instance, and I want to say it was Terry Rozier, in one instance, Rozier's payoff was hand-delivered to his house, $200,000 in unmarked $100 bills. And when they got there with the money, he actually got a cash counting machine out and counted it to make sure it was all there. This is a guy that's going to make $26 million this year and needs an extra $200,000, basically stolen from sports betting fans that populate FanDuel, Sportsbet, whatever the I don't know that one's better than another. They used off-the-shelf shuffling machines that had been secretly altered in order to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator sent the information via cell phone back to a co-conspirator at the table who was known as a quarterback. And they secretly signaled the information they had received to others at the table, and together they used that information in order to win the games and cheat their victims. Defendants use other cheating technologies such as poker chip tray analyzers, which is a poker chip tray that secretly reads cards using a hidden camera, special contact lenses or glasses that could read pre-marked cards, and an x-ray table that could read cards face down on the table. So imagine this. You know, people that now delight in going, yeah, I went to Vegas and I did it, and I sat there at the blackjack table. It's all a con. As I said in the bit that I'm going to play for you next segment, when I decried this when it came out 5 years ago, this is all a con job. This is the greatest regressive tax ever imposed, is legal gambling. It's a tax. You're not going to win. The state sets it up. You're playing at a 15, depending on what state you're in, a 15 to 18% disadvantage. The only game that you have almost a 50-50 shot at winning is craps. Most people don't know that, but you have to study the rules. You got to study the actual numbers, and you have to play by the book. You can't ever get off of the whatever the formula says you must play at craps. You must play. And you have a shot. Now, you're still going to lose. The casino still has an advantage. You know, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is how pari-mutuel gambling and horse racing works. If you don't know, let me just explain this to you. The state passes a law, says that pari-mutuel gambling in your state is legal, and then the racetracks move in. Here in Louisiana, we have Louisiana Downs, Delta Downs, Evangeline Downs, the fairgrounds, and the fairgrounds. There's five race courses. What happens is the Louisiana Racing Commission authorizes each one of those tracks to basically use a very specific set of machines to take your $10 that I go to window number 2, I give a $20 bill, and I say I want a $2 exacta box, and I'll give 3 horses, and it'll cost me, I think it's $18 for a 3-horse exacta box, or a $2 exacta box. What did I just do? In any combination of those 3 horses, finishing 1-2, I win. I win the exacta. And I'll get whatever the odds are. Here's what you don't know about that. When you see the odds at the racetrack, let's just say you're at the fairgrounds and the 5 horses is 3-2. He's heavily favored. It will also show you how much has been wagered to win, place, and show. So let's just say then you see 30,000 has been wagered to win, 15,000 to place, and then 5,000 to show. That's third place finish. Okay, so he finishes one in the first 3 positions, and you place a show bet, you win. Here are the odds. What they don't show you is the 17% the state of Louisiana took off the top. So you gave them a 20. They actually only put $16.60 into play. They skimmed the 17% off the top. They're going to split some with the racetrack so they can maintain their operations and make a profit. That's why they sell $5 beer or $10 beer and nachos and what have you. The rest goes to the state as basically a regressive tax. So congratulations. You go to the racetrack, you can place a bet on a horse, you just pay taxes. That's what they do. And you're not allowed to tell you this, apparently. The only reason I know is because I worked in the business and I wanted to know. I'm like, well, how does the racetrack make money? So I looked it up. This is back in the 80s. And I went, well, Shazam. Who in the hell would figure this out? The same is true with the casino. When you place the $100 bill down on the blackjack table, you think you're playing with 100. You're not. If you're in Reno, you're playing with $83. If you're in Vegas, you're playing with $85. Depends on where you are and what the law is. The casino took and factored in the odds 15 to 18% right off the top and put it into their bank account. They split it with it's a racket. The whole thing is a racket. It's a tax racket. And the poor, denuded souls who think that they're going to gain some kind of an advantage over this are just being lied to, and they're just suckers. You know, I have people tell me that I know all the time. One of my daughter's friends is a sports betting lunatic, and I told him, like, dude, you got to stop that. No, man, I'm good at it. I actually win sometime. I'm like, no, you don't. It's impossible. You lose. If you play the game, you lose. And they're banking on you not knowing that you lose. So you're basically walking into an establishment and going like, oh, you want 15% of my money? Here. Now, can I sit down and watch that television, for example? 15% is the minimum you're going to lose. Most people lose a lot more than 15%. They lose everything. So I don't want to hear any of this crap about, well, you know, the sports institutions, the NFL, corrupt. Major League Baseball, corrupt. National Basketball Association, corrupt. National Hockey League, corrupt. Ashley, if you're listening, or somebody, can you bet on golfing now? Can you bet on the PGA Tour? Is Vegas Sports Kings, DraftKings, and whatever, they're taking bets on whether or not Rory misses that putt? Because all Rory has to do is look in the audience and look for his guy. And I'm not saying that he does it. All he has to do is look for his guy and, okay, all he's got to do is look for his guy, because you can go to sports, you can go to DraftKings right now. McIlroy has a 4-foot putt for par. I'm going to bet $1,000 that Rory's going to make that putt. All Rory's going to do is look for his guy in the crowd and say, you know, if I put the tee in my left ear, I'm going to make it. If I put the tee in my right ear, I'm going to miss it. Miss it. Noonan. This is sinister crap. It's a tax. It's a racket. You can't win. And these people are all they are opulently, obscenely wealthy. To add insult to injury. No, you cannot play the game like that. And to think that people wanted good guys like Hank Aaron. What did Hank Aaron do? Born black. That's all he ever did. They wanted good guys like Hank Aaron to be the bad guy. And all Henry Aaron ever did was just play baseball. These creeps that play professional sports, and this is why I don't like them. I have no problem in cursing them when I watch them. And now you know that the sports agents and the sports betting, it's all rigged. Yeah, but Chica, they had their morals and values. Are you kidding me? Some dude just got paid $130-some-odd million to throw a piece of sewn together pigskin around. Literally. Where is the moral virtue in that? Yeah, but we have a capitalistic system, and capitalism is filled with immorality. The system, the feudal system that capitalism, what they call capitalism, ultimately replaced, leads to ruin. You know, as it says in the Bible, money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. And this is all pride. It's pride. Well, you know, God, you didn't bless me with enough, so I need to gamble and cheat so I can get what I think is owed to me because you didn't give me enough. The rest of this story, we had the sound bites from it as well. We have Stephen A. Smith talking about it. And Stephen A. Smith goes like, guys, they tried to put our president in jail. You think he doesn't know that his enemies are some of the people behind this sports betting, this rigged betting crap. And by the way, I'm just going to say it again. Foreign entities are taking tens of billions of dollars out of the United States right through that casino window. And yes, there are Red Sea pedestrians that are in that number. All right. We got a lot more to say about this, and we'll talk more about it. I don't want to be a one-trick dudester today. Let me throw you a curveball. I must admit that I did not know about this until I read this morning. How many of you know what the 3I Atlas comet is? Anybody? No. There's a comet out there that has entered our solar system. They have named it the 3I Atlas.
What does it look like?
Comet. Well, they think it's a comet.
Give me a picture. Is there a picture of it?
People like in pictures. I don't know. Go look. 3I/Atlas.
Letter I, not
Yeah, I. Yeah, the letter I / /Atlas.
I wrote it as I.
What do you know about the 3I Atlas comet? Okay, Doffender gets the best pupil of the day gold star. It's a comet. Or is it? It's a Friday. Yeah? We can do whatever the hell we want. It's a free phone Friday. This is from some dude named Mav. Is that Insta? I don't know what that is. No, it's got a blue check. That's on Mav Medax. Metax. Mavmetax. Mag. See if he's on Twitter. Harvard scientist. Wait a minute. Harvard scientist.
Yeah, he's on Twitter.
Dr. Avi Loeb, or Leib, I think it's Leib, thinks the upcoming movement of the interstellar object 3I/Atlas might be more than just a random event. You got a picture of it?
I just put it in the chat room.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a freaking comet.
What? It's supposed to be a comet. On October the 21st, 2025, the object will move directly behind the sun. Okay, so that's obviously happened. So that was 3 days ago. The object will move directly behind the sun, making it invisible to telescopes on Earth. Kind of an interesting little thing there. Heliocentrism versus geocentrism. Well, if it moves behind the sun, then when the sun comes around us, shouldn't we be able to see it? If the Earth is in the middle and everything is rotating around us, then how can something hide behind the sun unless it's moving?
If it's flat, aren't we supposed to see it all done?
Yeah, I want to hear Mike Parrott explain this one. Okay, so it moved directly behind the sun, making it invisible to telescopes on Earth. Just 8 days before it reaches its closest point to the sun. Leib believes this timing could allow for an O-berth maneuver, a special move spacecraft use near large bodies like the sun to gain extra speed using its gravity and energy. Now, if you don't know about the O-berth maneuver, any satellite that we have launched to the further reaches of this solar system have used the O-berth maneuver. And what it is you fly just fast enough. And there's calculations for this. Just fast enough, or close enough rather, to the sun, at the exact distance that the calculation predicts. And what will happen is the sun's gravity will pull you in, but not pull you in because it's velocity versus distance. And what happens is if you have the correct velocity at the right distance, when you go around the sun, you're picking speed up. And then when you get to the certain point in the O-berth maneuver, you fire your whatever fuel you have or whatever rockets, and you get a speed boost out of it. So you may have gone into the Oberg maneuver at what's to leave Earth's gravity of 23,000 miles per hour. So you might have gone into the Oberg maneuver at 23,000. You came out the other side at 28 or whatever it is. That's the Oberg maneuver. You can actually use it. You can do it with the moon too. You just fly closer. The Apollo missions used somewhat of a similar maneuver. So, before somebody goes, "That's a science fiction," no, it's not. It's actual Newtonian physics. So, an Oberth maneuver is a special move spacecraft used near large bodies like the sun to gain extra speed using its gravity and energy. When 3I/Atlas has its closest approach to the sun on October the 29th, it will be blasted with more than 33 gigawatts of solar energy, about 1/3 of what all U.S. nuclear power plants produce. If the object is artificial, Lieb suggests that this energy could power advanced systems while the object stays hidden from view. If 3I/Atlas continues moving exactly as gravity predicts, it will likely be a natural object like a comet. However, but if its speed or direction changes in ways science can't explain, Lieb says it could mean something far more extraordinary is happening. In other words, yes, the Independence Day aliens have arrived in our solar system. They're going to use the sun as a slingshot to speed up their close encounter with Earth. And then Rod Dreher talks about some Kraut physicist who's done a little research on this. We'll talk more about it when we come back.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop, hola, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no! Get your hands off of me! You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up! Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time. It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hey, it's the King Dude with another free lesson in Stuff You Really Don't Need to Know. Harvest was Great Britain's name for the season that follows summer, until autumn began to displace it at the end of the 16th century. But English immigrants to America preferred fall to autumn. And did you know that fall is caused by the sun setting below the equator in the northern hemisphere sky, also known as the equinox, which continues south to the winter solstice. Here's another seasonal fact for you. The flag of the Sacred Heart of Jesus is also known as the Carillon de Sacre-Cœur, or the original flag of Quebec. And did you know that our founders Trading Post is the exclusive maker and distributor of this one-of-a-kind, full-size, beautiful flag? Order a Sacred Heart flag right now and take $5 off, and I'll throw in a matching Sacred Heart flag bumper sticker for free. You know, don't cost nothing. Hurry, fall is here, and flag flying season in the north is limited. To order, go to mikechurch.com/flag or call us at 844-527-8723. The Carillon de Sacre-Cœur flag will beautify any indoor or outdoor space it flies in, but supplies are limited. So order today at mikechurch.com/flag or call us 844-527-8723.
The Crusade Channel and the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Mary Joseph with your Saint of the Day. Today is October 24th, the feast of Saint Raphael the Archangel. There are 7 special angels who stand before the throne of God. We know the names of 3 of them. They are Saint Michael, whose name is a challenge and means who is like to God; Saint Gabriel, whose name is a message and means strength of God; and Saint Raphael, whose name is a comfort and means healer of God or medicine of God. In some loving ways, Saint Michael is the angel of Saint Joseph, Saint Gabriel is the angel of Our Lady, and Saint Raphael is the angel of our Lord. According to at least one tradition, Saint Raphael was the angel who came to console our Lord in his bitter agony in the Garden of Olives, when Jesus had sweat blood. Saint Raphael's name is mentioned in Catholic prayers, including the Litany of the Saints. He is one of our special helpers in times of sickness and the hardships that go with it. His story in the Old Testament makes up nearly all the book of Tobias. Give perfect health to the sick, dispel the darkness of the blind, and while driving away diseases of the body, give spiritual strength to our souls. Thou who standest before the sovereign judge, plead for the pardon of our crimes, and as a trusty advocate appease the avenging wrath of the Most High. Renewer of the great battle, crush our proud enemy. Against the rebel spirits give us strength and increase our grace. To God the Father be glory, and to his only Son, together with the Paraclete Spirit, now and forevermore. Amen. Saint Raphael the Archangel, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of today's saint. Tomorrow is the feast of Saints Crispin and Crispinian and Saints Chrysanthus and Daria. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. And you can learn more about Footsteps. And you can learn more about our sisters in the building of our convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I am Sister Mary Joseph, and until next time, may God bless and Mary keep you.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's Recappuccino Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grande is available at shop.mychurch.com. We don't work on Sundays, and you shouldn't work on Sundays, but our priests work every Sunday.
And we literally thank God for that, because who else could turn a lazy Sunday into a spiritual adventure? We invite you to spend your Sundays with our priests on Sermon Sundays, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Get timely, seasonal, inspirational, and educational sermons from Catholic priests, all wrapped up in the best Catholic sacred chant music that's so heavenly, it might just make your halo glow. That's Sermon Sunday, where faith meets fun without missing a beat.
Catch all new seasonal sermons every Sunday morning, 6 a.m. East to 6 p.m. exclusively here on the Crusade Channel.
And now, for the first time ever, those soul-stirring sermons you soak up on Sunday are available as podcasts Monday through Saturday on crusade.com. Because even divine wisdom needs a replay button. And who wouldn't want a holy encore to kick off their week without the risk of divine intervention for hitting snooze?
Back in the 90s, there was this thing called the cigar boom, where everyone was buying and smoking handmade cigars. But here's the thing. The popular cigars then were the best-made cigars, like Fuente, Joya de Monterrey, and Avo. Over the next 10 years, craftsmanship was replaced by gimmick and slick packaging, and that's when I decided to get in the business and launched El Rey Dude Corona cigars. 20 years later, I launched Mancipio Maria cigars, with that same principle in mind. Make a great handmade cigar, and that's exactly what we do in 4 sizes. I invite you to try a 4-pack sampler of my Mancipia Maria cigars and taste them for yourself in smooth, natural, or bold Maduro wrappers. And to sweeten the deal, I've discounted them 25% for a limited time. And as always, we include a personal humidifier with every order. To order, go to shop.mikechurch.com. Order $50 or more, and shipping is on me. Try my Mancipia Maria cigars today at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hey guys, you got a minute?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's about my dad. He wants to have a sex change operation.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
No, it's totally different.
Sounds the same.
Well, it's not.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Okay, this is not the help I came over here for.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
He has an appointment Friday with Dr. Hartman to have the procedure, and he wants me to go with him. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, I'm sure your friend Peter would be happy to come along for moral support.
All right, but look, here's the deal. Anything he lops off, we get to bring home for Brian.
That's very green of you, Peter.
Why you had to hide away for so long? Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
Everybody's favorite Friday tradition now is the playing of Mr. Blue Sky. Maggie even has the video downloaded of baby Groot dancing. Hi! Groot, stop! Oh, it's a great day today. We have some news. Wait a minute. No, we have news. Maggie is telling me no, we don't have news. Yes, we do have news. This portion of the program brought to you by the Founders Trading Post store. And let me tell you, The Power of the Rosary by Gabriel Castillo, a book that's more than informative, it's contagious. It's brand new in the shop.mikechurch.com, Founders Trading Post store today, along with all the other great books that I have been telling you about that are brand new to the store. Shop with us today. By the way, get your orders for Cappuccino and Holy Roast Coffee in today. I talked to Kyle yesterday. I'd buy it all today because Brazil is in big trouble. Not only are they going to get tariffed, their coffee harvest may also get destroyed by frost, which I find kind of strange, since I thought that the planet was setting itself on fire. Planet's got a favor. 2008 was a fire. What happened with climate change? Isn't it funny? Trump's in office for 9 months and all of a sudden there's no climate change. Amazing. It's a miracle. So, let me just make this little screenshot here real quick so I can drop it in the Crusader Stadium chat room. crusadechannel.com/chat. Here you go. This is big. This is really big. This is cool. I think all of you will like this. All right, let's do it. So, there you can see that the fundraising campaign to replace the backup mixing board, which is right there. You can see if you're watching this, it's right there. We have hit the goal of $3,500, bested it by a little bit, $3,760.47. So, thanks to all of you, especially, there's too many of you to thank. So we're going to send you all personal notes, but thank you. I'm going to order that Joker today. So we're going to tape episode number 14 of Mom's Murders and Mysteries. By the way, this next case that we're working on is Maggie and I both going bonkers because it's just a rabbit hole case. And the more we look into it, I feel like really Ed and Lorraine Warren here. The more I look into it, the more I am intrigued, and then I get angry about it, and then I go like, well, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to find this. I want to find that out. Some of you may know about it, so it'll come up in 2 weeks. We're going to actually do the principal recording of that podcast today, and it's the Delphi killing case. And I know it doesn't matter what side you're on. I was on the side when I went into it that Ricky Allen did it. And that the state's case was solid. State's case is not solid. Now, he may have done it. I haven't reached a conclusion one way or the other whether or not he did it or not. But I can tell you this, the state did not prove that he did it. And that means that a man that should be free is incarcerated for the rest of his life. 130 years. 140 years. No, I've read the court filings, the documents. There's no, it's just, in any event, you'll have to wait for the podcast. And we thought that maybe this would just be a 1 or 2 episode cast. I don't know. This case is just a ginormous, it's like Ross Perot would say, it's a giant sucking sound, Larry. I don't know, Larry. I don't want the job of being on this podcast, Larry, but you get me anywhere in this Delphi killer case there, Larry. And I start looking at it, and there's a crazy aunt screaming in the attic trying to get out, and then they don't want to let her out. And that's what the state's got, this Ricky Allen guy. Now they're moving him all over the place. They moved him to Oklahoma now, Larry. Just the most, the tragedy is there's a pair of dead teenage girls. I think the killer is probably still out there. As a matter of fact, if I know anything about the way these kind of killers operate, he's killed already again. Yep. There's no doubt in my mind that he's killed already. No, if I were on, well, we don't know that because we weren't in the jury room. So we didn't hear all the evidence. The evidence that I have heard, I am not convinced. And there is more than a reasonable doubt. I don't know that he has the greatest. He doesn't have Alan Jackson as his attorney. I mean, I don't know that he has the greatest legal team. I mean, they had to get pro bono, basically, people. So, in any event, we'll be recording that today. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's a great, you know what, Defender, dude, we ask people at the end of every episode, send us your cases. Send us the cases. And it's not just wrong convictions. We're also, we want to do mysteries. So our Halloween case comes out next week. You're going to love it. It's a throwback to the Deliver Us from Evil tapes. It's all about Annabelle. In any event, thank you. So the wing, I'll order the wing today. I will call Sweetwater Sound. I only deal with Sweetwater Sound because they're good people and they stand by whatever it is they sell, and they actually call you and then say, "Hi, Mr. Church, that little $5 widget that you bought, did you receive it? Is it okay?" And I go like, "Well, as a matter of fact, I did. Thank you very much. Okay, just calling to check on you." So if you're in the audio game, Sweetwater Sound, they're just the best in the business. They've been around for a long time and they're good people. So I will order that from Sweetwater today. Now I just got to get Mosier here to hook it up. I'm sure Maggie is looking forward to spending another weekend with Jim Mosier.
I love Jim.
We love Jim. All right, I want to go back before I forget. I want to go back to the... How can you look into the Charlie Kirk case? What is there to know? What is there to know that everyone doesn't already know? There's a hearing today, isn't there? And isn't Tyler Robinson, he's going to be, well, he's not going to be in court, but there's a hearing today. And it's something about his attire, what he has to wear in court. There was another hearing, there was another emergency motion that was filed yesterday, 2 days ago, for some guy whose name I did not know. James, what was his name? Nobody else reported on it, but I saw it, and I went, who in the hell is that guy? And what does it have to do with Tyler Robinson? There's some strange stuff going on in this case.
It's a closed hearing planned for today.
Okay, so there is a closed hearing planned for today. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. And no, I don't think that we know everything. And I am one because, the further away we get from Charlie's assassination, the more of an outrage.
So they want him. They're doing a closed court meeting to determine if he can wear regular street clothes or a suit.
That's what it
versus the prison outfit.
So he wants to go Fetterman.
He wants to appear normal and not already convicted.
Okay, so he wants to appear Fetterman.
Yes, and he doesn't want to wear the what do you call it, bulletproof vest.
He doesn't want to wear the vest. So in other words, he's been told, look, your life is over anyways. Just let him take you out before the trial. You'll save us all a lot of heartache and misery and suffering and what have you.
Can you imagine the conspiracy theory? Can you imagine the conspiracy theory after that? If someone actually kills him before the trial goes on, it'll be, the government, Israel's trying to cover it up.
In my best Bill Paxton voice, hey man, maybe you have been kicking it up on current events, pal, but we just got our asses kicked, pal.
It would be bad.
I miss Bill Paxton. Back to the story. Okay, I want to finish up with 3I/Atlas, the comet. Okay, now whether it's a comet or not is immaterial. On October the 29th, I will be looking for the news to see when it comes out on the other side of the sun, if it does, if it picked any speed up, same trajectory, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you don't know the story, so this thing came into our solar system. I did a little more due diligence on this, but it came into our solar system as a UAP, unidentified aerial projectile, or whatever they call it. But this is one that is stellar. Okay, so it came in. One of the asteroid detection telescopes picked it up. And so then there's a bunch of astronomers who have nothing to do with their time other than to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning and look in the heavens through their telescopes. Some astronomers then put actual eyeballs on this thing, and they saw, and it's rather large. It's big. It's large. And they said, okay, that can't be an asteroid. It's too big. So they said, well, they think it's a comet. Now, the telltale sign of a comet is when it gets closer to the sun and the ice on it starts to melt and you get the famous comet tail, okay? I don't know the 3I/Atlas has that. But here's what we do know. Sabine Hassenfelder, a German physicist who usually debunks UAP claims, is now warning that something is up with this thing. The more we know about it, the more unusual it becomes. And did you click on the video? Which video? For Andrea's piece. Now I'm just curious because I actually haven't. Can you? It's 4 minutes long. Can you play that video? So Skywatch Signal is Sabine Hassenfelder. The more data we have, the more unusual it's become. It's shedding nickel. Go ahead, play the video. Let's see.
Atlas. This is why astrophysicists are confident it really came from far away. But just what is it? Most astrophysicists think it's a comet, that's a body mostly made of ice which starts evaporating as it gets closer to the sun, which then creates the characteristic comet tail. But if it's a comet, it's an odd comet. In a study that just appeared on the archive, astrophysicists report that 3A Atlas is shedding nickel and iron at a rate they call exceptional. It also emits carbon dioxide and water in a ratio that researchers have called unusual, and that, some say, would fit to being exhaust from a propulsion system. Yet another recent paper found that the object changes the polarization of light in a way that they call unprecedented among asteroids and comets. Yet another oddity is that despite still being far away from the sun, 3I Atlas has developed a tail that's pointing towards the sun rather than away from it. Astrophysicists have described this as not common and possibly observed for the first time. All this comes after 3A Atlas was found to be on an unusual trajectory, almost in the plane of our solar system, coming close to 3 planets, Mars, Jupiter and Venus. It'll reach its closest approach to the sun on October 29th, pretty much on the opposite side of the sun as we are, and it's moving unusually fast. Some have argued that it doesn't seem to be tumbling around as much as one would expect, or that it seems to have some self-illumination, but these claims are really far out there, maybe somewhere in the Oort cloud. Still, even if we take only what we read in the astrophysics papers, this sounds suspicious, doesn't it? Unusual, unprecedented, exceptional, observed for the first time. How many oddities does it take for an object to warrant extra scrutiny? So what are we to make of this? Let's start with the question of how unusual the object actually is. For this, we have to ask unusual compared to what? This is only the 3rd interstellar object we've ever seen. We don't have much to compare it to. Yes, it's the fastest of those 3, but so what? Why is it so close to the plane in which the planets lie? Quite possibly because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have seen it. Why does it get so close to these 3 planets? Let me ask you in return, if this was a deliberately chosen and designed orbit, why does it stay away from Earth, the one planet in the habitable zone? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe they're afraid of us and trying to hide? Well, they're not doing a good job at it, do they? That leaves the possibility that it's a piece of space junk. Personally, I think it's highly likely that there are other intelligent civilizations in our galaxy. They almost certainly have explorer missions, and more importantly, there must be lots of tech debris flying around in interstellar space. That a broken alien spaceship might just drift through our solar system is unlikely, but not impossible. I think it's a hypothesis we should seriously consider.
Well, we'll find out.
To be clear, we have no evidence that 3I Atlas is alien technology.
Okay. When she says interstellar object, what I believe she means is Kohoutek, Haley, Kohoutek, and what was the other one that had a number? They called it... what was it? Astronomical object, AO 81 or whatever it is. It's just interesting to me that, well, maybe it is a comet and it's just going a lot faster than any of the other comets. Kind of interesting to me that if you're going to make the claim that that's an interstellar object. And by the way, the real way, get a telescope. I have one. I don't have it here with me, but if I did, I'd find out where that joker is tonight, and I'd look at it myself and put my greatest lens on it, and I'd give a gander on it and check it out myself. The interesting thing to me about the comet thing is, and I was just wondering the other day why we haven't seen another comet, because a comet comes into the solar system, goes and does the Oberth maneuver around the sun, and then leaves. Which is why, the Kohoutek or Bailey's or Haley's, whatever, had 85 years before you'll see it again. So perhaps it is just an interstellar object, and it's just a flying piece of rock that's unlike any other flying piece of rock that we've seen. It's just leaving different debris. That's simple as that. Maybe it got too. Maybe it was ejected from the corona of a star somewhere and solidified. And who knows?
Contrary to popular belief, we don't have all the answers.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to speculate that. Could it be an interstellar? Could it be the mothership? But no. How many people are going to be, well, we won't be around, but if we were around in 2061, I believe, isn't that the right year, Jeff? Isn't it 2061 when the Vulcans detect when that Ephraim Cockram has fired up the first warp core, and a Vulcan ship nearby goes, hey, a warp signature, there's life! And then the Vulcans come and visit us, and then the Khazarians take over, and it's the Antichrist, and it's the end of the world. So, in any event, I just thought I would mention it. All right, let's do some digital media files. Play digital media file number 2. You might be what?
Nothing. What do you want?
Digital media file number 2. I was going to play Kash Patel, but since everybody hates him, I mean, if you were in the chat room yesterday, chat room activity is very weird. Days when I think there shouldn't be anybody in there, there's 80 people. Days when I think there should be a lot of people in there, like today talking about the NBA and the gambling and the cheating and then the comments and all that, there's 30.
It's Friday.
Yeah, I don't get it. I can tell you this, everyone's favorite curmudgeon cynic yesterday, literally, if you were in the chat room, was having a mental and nervous breakdown over, shut up, you midget. I'm like, midget? Is Patel that short? Yeah, there it is, useless midget. Stephen A. Smith is probably a little taller than Kash Patel, so we'll get his version instead.
I want to go someplace and I want to shield, and I want to look into the camera and look into the eyes of America and shield everybody on this set away from what I'm about to say. This is coming from me. We all know, when we're talking about gambling, just so you know, in calendar year 2024, Americans wagered approximately $147.9 billion through regulated sports books. According to the American Gaming Association, as of August of this year, Americans wagered an estimated $84 billion with illegal bookies and offshore sports books in the past year. We know about how
that's $237 billion.
Gambling is
$241 billion
within the world of sports and vice versa. And we all understand, like we talk about the poker games and all of this other stuff. You may not have known any kind of mild connection or anything like that. We got that part. But there's a macro perspective that everybody has to pay attention to. And this is where I come in. We're sitting on here on the sports show doing First Take. We all know what other stuff that I do. We know what world that I live in terms of politics. How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story, okay? Remember, Trump has a long, long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were?
I'll take the Dom Perignon, of course.
Ah, the lady has taste. And you, sir? I'll just take the Diet Coke. Oh, dear. You know, what I miss about the good old days before social media and AI ruined everything?
Let me guess. No fat people outside of the circus, and Ozempic was the name of a demon in C.S. Lewis story, right?
Well, yeah, but besides that, classic radio shows with actors and actual stories.
Well, lucky for the human race, the Crusade Channel is rolling over 900 episodes of a show called Suspense.
Tweak your mystery-solving muscles over lunch and catch episodes of Suspense, weekdays noon till 2 on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and classic radio the way it should be.
I like my version of suspense. Hey!
Doesn't work without me.
The Crusade Channel and the slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Mary Joseph with your Saint of the Day. Today is October 24th, the feast of Saint Raphael the Archangel. There are 7 special angels who stand before the throne of God. We know the names of 3 of them. They are Saint Michael, whose name is a challenge and means who is like to God. Saint Gabriel, whose name is a message and means strength of God. And Saint Raphael, whose name is a comfort and means healer of God or medicine of God. In some loving ways, Saint Michael is the angel of Saint Joseph, Saint Gabriel is the angel of Our Lady, and Saint Raphael is the angel of our Lord. According to at least one tradition, Saint Raphael was the angel who came to console our Lord in his bitter agony in the Garden of Olives when Jesus had sweat blood. Saint Raphael's name is mentioned in Catholic prayers, including the Litany of the Saints. He is one of our special helpers in times of sickness and the hardships that go with it. His story in the Old Testament makes up nearly all the book of Tobias. Give perfect health to the sick, dispel the darkness of the blind, and while driving away diseases of the body, give spiritual strength to our souls. Thou who standest before the sovereign judge, plead for the pardon of our crimes, and as a trusty advocate appease the avenging wrath of the Most High. Renewer of the great battle, crush our proud enemy. Against the rebel spirits give us strength and increase our grace. To God the Father be glory, and to his only Son, together with the Paraclete Spirit, now and forevermore. Amen. Saint Raphael the Archangel, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of today's saint. Tomorrow is the feast of Saints Crispin and Crispinian and Saints Chrysanthus and Daria. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. And you can learn more about Footsteps. And you can learn more about our sisters in the Building Rare Convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I am Sister Mary Joseph, and until next time, may God bless and Mary keep you.
Do you hear that, Maggie?
Do I hear what?
You don't hear the sound of bees buzzing about?
No, I see the result of that buzzing about and these beautiful new beeswax candles.
We sell candles now?
Not just any candles. These are handmade beeswax candles.
Well, that explains me imagining bees.
And they come in different sizes. There's a votive, a 3-day, and a 7-day size too.
Well, that should start a buzz in the store.
It better, or you'll get the buzz.
Order handmade beeswax candles today while supplies last at shop.mikechurch.com.
Okay, please enter the 9-digit 2-step authorization code we just emailed you. Jeez. What do you mean, prove I'm human? Okay, that's a car. That's a car. That's a car. Those are not cars. Please try again. Oh my gosh. I'll show you. Try again, stupid piece of AI mother. Here, try this.
Jim, what are you doing? Good grief, man. This isn't Office Space the movie. What are you trying to do?
I just wanted to send the KingDude a donation through the stupid computer.
Like Trump, the KingDude makes everything better, including donating, which you can now do by mail.
Mail? They still have that?
Of course they do, and the KingDude's keeping the ponies running on time and in business. Just snail mail your donation to P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
Ha! And you can't. You're such a boomer. Me this time. And wait a minute. I know they're around here somewhere. There! Ha-ha!
Dude, those are airmail stamps from the movie Airplane. Surely you have...
Of course I do. And Don't call me Shirley. The Crusade Radio Guild is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, so your donations are tax deductible. Donate today. The Crusade Radio Guild, P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana 70447.
I do feel, Reg, that any anti-imperialist group like ours must reflect such a divergence of interest within its power base.
Agreed. Francis? Yeah, I think Judith's point of view is very valid, Reg, provided the movement never forgets that it is the unalienable right of every man or woman to rid himself or herself. Agreed. Thank you, brother. Or sister. Where was I? I think you finished. Oh, right. Furthermore, it is the birthright of every man or woman. Why don't you shut up about women, Stan? You're putting us off. Women have a perfect right to play a part in our movement, Reg. Why are you always on about women, Stan? I want to be one. What? I want to be a woman. From now on, I want you all to call me Loretta. What? It's my right as a man.
But why do you want to be Loretta, Stan?
I want to have babies. You want to have babies? It's every man's right to have babies if he wants them. But you can't have babies. Don't you oppress me. I'm not oppressing you, Stan. You haven't got a womb. Where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to keep it in a box?
Here, I've got an idea. Suppose you agree that he can't actually have babies, not having a womb, which is nobody's fault, not even the Romans, but that he can have the right to have babies.
Good idea, Judith. We shall fight the oppressors for your right to have babies, brother. Sister, sorry. What's the point? What? What's the point of fighting for his right to have babies when he can't have babies? It is symbolic of our struggle against oppression. Symbolic of his struggle against reality.
Let's do it! You gotta beat the clock, you gotta beat the clock.
You can boogie, love disco, love that disco sound. Move on your body, spinning round and round. But don't forget, oh no. Don't forget, oh no. The stars are 45, keep on turning in your mind. But we can work it out. Remember, twist the shout. You still not tell me why, and no reply.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey. Sugar, sugar, you are my candy.
There's a new disease out there. It's called TBS. Trump building something syndrome. And folks, I have to tell you that I am glad to be with you. Thanks to the Blessed Virgin Mary for being so kind, gracious to us, and for being our patroness. And St. Joseph for being our patron. And St. Pius X for being our other patron saint. And just to reiterate our announcement earlier, we hit the goal for our equipment purchase. Thank you. Hit the goal for the week of October 6th crowdfunding. A little delay, but that's okay. Thank you very much. And crusadechannel.com/donate is always open. And as you just heard in the hysterical snail mail bit, you can mail your contribution. This is just a offhanded remark. Or just... Is it nice? Well, it depends on whose side you're on. Is it nice? You know, we people that are in the broadcast media are not ethereal beings from other dimensions. I do not have any knowledge or wisdom outside of what anyone else would have at my age and a different station in life. I just apply it differently. And the fact that the microphone comes on and the camera works and then we're in front of more people than you are every day, that makes you an elite. Okay, fine. It doesn't make me less than Billy Bob the plumber. So, forgive me when I jump into chats and I try and defend people that are in broadcast media because they've waded into a field where it is literally, it's thank God for you that send private notes of thanks, because otherwise you would just walk away from something like this. You would just quit. Because people just, humans have very little capacity for, what's the word? Geniality. The French word is génial, which just means to be nice. People have a large capacity for being very rude and callous. And it's not that we don't that you don't want to hear what someone has to say, and certainly if there's a fraternal correction that needs to be stated, well then you should. It's an act against charity for you to not. Well, there are many times when things are just said, and I go to Maggie as Mrs. Church, not as producer, and I go like, what on earth would make someone say this to me? And she just throws her hands up in the air and goes, I don't know, let's do a shot. And it's probably the right solution. I don't know, let's do a shot.
It always works for me.
It's going to work this afternoon, too. So somebody please say something totally in your character and directed at me. So I want to finish the Stephen A. Smith soundbite. And quite frankly, I don't care how he got where he is. They never looked into it. He seems to appear on the shows that I have a little bit of interest in. I love Jason Whitlock. He's been on with Jason. And, I don't care what he did or how he made it where he is. You never sat in those shoes. And, yeah, but you guys get all this. Oh, dude, you have no idea. You want to trade? You want to trade? Trade you right now. You come do this right now. And you get access to everything that I see and that I get to read. And I got to tell you, that's why I thank the Blessed Virgin Mary, because if it weren't for her, were it not for her, and for St. Padre Pio to tell me, pray, hope, and don't worry, Mike, I don't think that you can do this for 34 years without serious grace. I just don't. Because people are just mean. And that's just the way it is. And I'm okay with it. I've conformed my mind to reality, which is why when I meet some of you that are not mean and are wonderful, beautiful people, then it's always, it's a joy to know. Well, sometimes it's also a joy to know, that there are curmudgeons out there. And I guess the curmudgeons also need to be heard. What are you saying, curmudgeons? Oh, no, curmudgeons are people too, and I guess that everybody should get taken down a peg or yelled at every now and then, but just not all the time. Everything is not broken. By the way, before you go back to Stephen A. Smith, the reason I wanted Stephen A. Smith because he's not in the political class, even though he says he does politics. And I thought that his take on this was pretty good. I've already covered it for an hour. Well, let me just say to you about the building of the White House. That the White House is as a beautiful piece of architecture. There's a reason it's famous. But people have added things to the White House that have made it more appealing as an architectural item. For example, I talked about this 4 days ago, the Truman balcony. That balcony was not there in 1948 when he won re-election. It wasn't. I think it was Margaret Truman's idea, actually, but somebody said, wait, let's build it. And it's a curved balcony, which is kind of rare, difficult to construct as well. So they constructed that curved balcony. Today, it is a famous piece of the White House. It wasn't there in 1948, and in order to put it there, they did have to open up part of that part of the White House. They had to get to the structure so they could attach it to the actual structure. Now, the East Wing, the one that, how dare you destroy this? Well, the East Wing was added in the last century or so, I believe. Either you trust Trump or you don't. Is he wrong about things? Yes, he's wrong. He gets lots of stuff wrong. So do you. So do I. Probably today I've already made 30 mistakes. Yeah, but they don't have the impact. Save it, dude. Save it. I trust that the guy who knows more about building than I do was consulted with architects, and they told him, Mr. President, that room is not worth, that particular wing is not worth preserving. We could attach to it, or you have to understand, he's not talking to a guy that's hosting a fix-up show on the Learning Channel. I know he said that in his thing. I consulted with the architects. I wanted to keep it. They kept telling me no. He said this months ago when this came out. He said structurally it wouldn't work. And they said structurally it won't work. It just won't work. So that's why it is being demolished. I don't have an issue with it. The beautiful parts of the White House are still there. I don't think they're going anywhere. As I said, the interior had to be completely redone. I know for a fact because Father Shannon Collins did a sermon on this. I'll find it someday, and I will put it on Sermon Sunday. Father Collins did a sermon on it. When Truman had the White House gutted, when they repaved, when they put the pavement in for the ground floor, and they poured concrete in there, he had a Masonic, because he was a 33rd degree Mason, and I'm not trying to start a conspiracy here. He had a Masonic cornerstone put in the White House. I'm telling you, it's there. You know what else? George Washington had a Masonic and a very Masonic ritual placed at the northeast corner of the 10-mile square when they began construction on Washington, D.C. There's a painting that's done with Washington in the Masonic skirt. They're putting the stone in the ground. These things happened. So, for all of the atrocities, the things that this is the worst thing that's ever happened here, the Trump building derangement syndrome. Am I the only one that remembers that Biden had the tranny Easter egg roll with the naked tranny running around the lawn? Topless tranny running around the lawn? It was an epic troll. Absolutely epic troll. All right, so back to Stephen A. Smith on the gambling. I think this is the biggest story because this means another institution has fallen. So there it is. The greatest major events timelines of the White House. You want to be outraged or something? Trans Day of Visibility, North and South flagpoles. Rose Garden renovations with the Trans Day of Innovations. Bill, he has a shot of Monica Lewinsky. You know, it's funny. Remember when Bill Maher went to the White House? When Kid Rock said, no, man, you got to go. He's a cool dude. You'll love hanging out with him. Just do it. Don't do it. Don't listen to your stupid friends, Bill. Come on, man. Just trust me on this. And so Maher went. And Maher said the first thing he did when I get there is, the guy gives me a MAGA hat. And he goes, no, it's just yours. Put it on. And he goes, well, I'm not going to tell the president no. She goes, no, I'm not putting that on. I'm not putting it on. I'll carry it with me. She goes, okay, well, you carry it with you. You'll change your mind. And he goes, let me show you something. And he takes him to the private library off of the Oval Office. And Maher walks into the room and he goes, and what is this, Mr. President? Well, this is Bill. Can I call you Bill? Is that okay? Bill, this is the president's private library. It's right here. And come on, stand over here. Stand right there. You're standing, Bill, right there. That's where Monica Lewinsky gave Bill Clinton a... And Maher says the rest of the evening was delightful. I dropped all my pretensions on my guard, and I had a good time hanging out with the president. And he asked me some questions about policy, he said, and we disagreed, but he said, no, I want to hear what you got to say. In any event, here he is. Stephen A. Smith on the gambling scandal, which is going to get bigger. But
I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story, okay? Remember, Trump has a long, long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be. This was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Because when you've got all of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. And to me, this is the latest nugget of evidence that we're talking about right here. That's not to question the legitimacy of the case. We don't know. We're all sitting up here and we're saying that we don't know. But anybody that has been around him, anybody that has talked to him, anybody that has seen his reactions from the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today. I'm watching a press conference with the director of the FBI. Tell me when we've seen that. We've seen people, we've seen accusations before. We've seen athletes get in trouble with the law before. You don't see the director of the FBI having a press conference. It's not coincidental. It's not an accident. It's a statement. And it's a warning that more is coming. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets.
all right,
This ain't the platform for
you
me
get the idea. Now, I wanted you to hear that because I don't think he, for all the grandeur, I'm going to say this, I'm going to look into the camera because this is national television, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's just the right thing to do.
Maybe the only people that are scared are...
And maybe the people that should be scared, Stephen, are the criminals in the sports leagues that you cover because they're all corrupt now. And they're all going to be revealed as corrupt.
Worried about not getting that
It's a matter of degree now. Now, how do I know this? It's the right thing to do. Maggie, you can play. Oh, I guys saw it. Where is it? Number 10. So get your little frog with the wristwatch and no one's been arrested meme ready. I wish that somebody would make a version of that frog swallowing a very large M80 and being exploded to smithereens for when we play a digital media file or like this. Number 10. Number 10. Actually, an arrest has been made. 30 yesterday. Yeah, but that's it. I want Bolton. Okay, well, Bolton's been arrested. I want Fauci. I will guarantee you there is a battery of White House lawyers right now, of lawyers that are working overtime, and they are looking for a way to get Fauci. Remember, Fauci's the one that led him down the whole path of the whole... Him and Scarf Vader, who cannot be found now with a search warrant. That witch, she moved to Guyana. She gone. She's out of the country. This is why yesterday's arrest matter, because it's the right thing to do. Sorry, there are bad people out there. Sorry, there are criminals out there acting all criminal and stuff, and they're not going to stop until you stop them like this.
The most insidious was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission that you have presented to them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so for none of these arrests matter. This is all stagecraft or whatever, dude. You know, I firmly believe for the people that say that it wouldn't matter if they got Fauci. You'd say, well, I want Fauci's dad. I want Mrs. Fauci in jail. I won't be happy until the entire clan, all Faucis. I want the receptionist. You'll never be happy. You're just not happy kind of people to be satisfied. That's fine. We understand that. I'm happy, and I'm satisfied, and I'm glad that some woman named La Diablo, the demon, the devil, feminine devil, is not on the streets anymore. You can laugh, you can put your frog memes up, you can yuck it up, and you can say it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it does matter, because some woman is not going to have her baby ripped out of her gut, and the baby's not going to be cut into little pieces so you can get at its little heart, its little liver, its little kidneys, and its little organ. So no, yes, it does matter. It does matter. La Diablo is in jail. We should give a round of applause for that. Governor Pritzker announced a state commission to shine more light on misconduct on Trump's federal agents. I want you to hear, do we have time to play Beetlejuice? It's 1:22. No.
I mean, I have it if you want.
No, the clock is going to kill it. I want you to hear. Well, we're going to do Free Farm Friday, top of next time. We're going to talk about the price of beef. I actually invited the people from Merriweather Farms onto the program today. I did not hear back, so maybe during the timeout I will hear. But they were invited. Nonetheless, we have the stories, and we're going to do a Free Farm Friday segment when we come back from this timeout. And then before Magdalene comes on, we got a bunch of sound bites to get to and stuff here. Thanks to you, all of you, again, for your generosity and your donations to help us get to the equipment fund funded and the other fund. We'll be back.
It's the WWE and the UFC for live talk radio Thursday Night Throwdown, hosted by you. Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real live talk radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all three spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you his personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mychurch.com.
Have you ever dreamed of being like Brian Kay or Mitter Monday and being a Free Farm Friday star? But you know you have no shot at it because you can't tell the difference between a U and a Y-O-U. Well, lucky for you, we have an entire bookstore filled with the books you need to become so passionate for farming, you'll soon be wearing a Brian K. Calls Me for Advice t-shirt. So learn to grow by growing your library with books by shopping at shop.mikechurch.com.
You're listening to the Crusade Channel, a Black Hat Studios media property, broadcasting live 24/7 from Madisonville, Louisiana, and to the world via CrusadeChannel.com.
Crusade Channel News. News you can trust. Because the truth can be trusted. From the Crusade Channel News Desk, here's Janet Huxley.
Hello, Crusaders. Welcome to Friday, October 24th, 2025. I'm Janet Huxley reporting for the Crusade Channel News Desk, live from the Dothan Farm and Ranch, south of Kansas City, Missouri. This report brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub. Rub that's won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. Here's what to listen for this hour. Trump hits Russian oil giants with sanctions after Putin talks lead nowhere. Democrats are under fire as food stamp funds run dry. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley reminds liberals of their hypocrisy, and a United Airlines pilot injured and forced to make an emergency landing after a mystery object smashes the windshield of a Boeing 737 at 36,000 feet. President Donald Trump has imposed new sanctions on Russia's 2 largest oil companies and canceled a planned summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, signaling a renewed attempt to pressure the Kremlin without committing to deeper U.S. involvement in Ukraine's war. Trump said, "We canceled the meeting with President Putin. It didn't feel right to meet. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get," Trump said on Wednesday. "So I canceled it, but we'll do it in the future." Millions of Americans who rely on federal food benefits could be among the next casualties of that ongoing government shutdown. Approximately 42 million people in the U.S. who use the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program are in danger of not receiving aid as of November 1st, when the program's funds are expected to run dry. The U.S. Department of Agriculture warned state agencies in a memo obtained by Fox. More than 24 states have alerted residents to possible lapses in funding. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley reminded liberals on Wednesday of how many of them wanted historical artifacts destroyed when he was asked about the president's tearing down of the East Wing of the White House. CNN reporter Manu Raju pressed Hawley on Trump tearing down that portion for the ballroom, and the reporter, of course, suggested Trump was demolishing a precious historical edifice in the process. Hawley quipped, "The far left has supported the destruction of statues of U.S. historical figures in recent years. I made this point yesterday that I hear all of a sudden from my liberal friends that they're concerned about our history. Really? These are the same people who tore down every statue they could get their hands on in the last 4 years," the lawmaker said. Our quote of the day: "The secret of happiness is to live moment by moment and to thank God for all that He, in His goodness, sends to us day after day." St. Gianna Molla, and coming up, our saint of the day. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com. Now in our 9th year, Crusade Channel News is simply the best daily newscast on all of radio.
News that informs and inspires and doesn't destroy any critical thinking brain cells.
Catch it at 6, 8, and 3 p.m. on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and news radio.
The way it should be.
Our saint of the day is Raphael, one of the 3 archangels mentioned in the Bible. The others are Gabriel and Michael. Raphael performs all manner of healing in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The Hebrew word for doctor of medicine is Rapha, from the same root as Raphael. In the Roman Catholic Church, Raphael is the patron saint of travelers, young people, blindness, and druggists. The only scriptural information about Raphael is in the book of Tobit, where Raphael, in the disguise of a handsome teenager named Azarias, accompanied the younger Tobias on a journey to Media to collect some money lent by Tobias's father. Not only did Raphael protect Tobias during the trip and help him collect the money, but also saved him from being eaten by some unspecified fish and the binding of the demon in the desert of Upper Egypt. Raphael became known as the patron of the sick because of a medieval legend in which Raphael appeared to a holy hermit when a plague was sweeping Central Europe. Raphael told the hermit a new herb recently introduced by the Vikings to that area would cure the plague, and the roots of the herb were boiled to make a tea, which eventually cured thousands. A United Airlines pilot was injured and forced to make an emergency landing after a mystery object smashed the windshield of a Boeing 737 at 36,000 feet. Photos circulating online show the pilot's arms bleeding and bruised, with injuries consistent with cut glass. Broken glass was also covering the dashboard and cockpit, and other photos show what appears to be scorch marks at the point of impact. It was United Flight 1093 from Denver to LA that had to make the emergency landing in Salt Lake last week, and online observers suggested the strike might have been a result of space debris or even a meteor. Birds, hail, and other objects tend to collide with planes at lower altitudes, so this reported incident is different in that the Boeing 737 MAX 8 was at cruising altitude far above those concerns. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Silk Feather. Ma'am, what would you like to drink?
Oh, I'll take the Dom Perignon, of course.
Ah, the lady has taste. And you, sir? I'll just take the Diet Coke. Oh, dear. You know, what I miss about the good old days before social media and AI ruined everything?
Let me guess. No fat people outside of the circus, and Ozempic was the name of a demon in C.S. Lewis story, right?
Well, yeah, but besides that, classic radio shows with actors and actual stories.
Well, lucky for the human race, the Crusade Channel is rolling over 900 episodes of a show called Suspense.
Tweak your mystery-solving muscles over lunch and catch episodes of Suspense, weekdays noon till 2 on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and classic radio the way it should be.
I like my version of suspense. Hey!
Doesn't work without me.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
So let's go back.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
Now more of what you bought your Founders Pass membership for. The Mike Church Show is on the Crusade Channel. About to be 10 years young. Ain't that something? Here on a free phone Friday, which has been going on since 2004. I want to make sure I got the year right. So 21 years of free phone Fridays without phones. And somehow we have survived.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Oh, by the way, Mautitia James will be in court today with her fat carcass. It's free phone. a free phone right there. Yay. The telephone number to take me up on this kind, benevolent, beneficent offer, and it is a kind, benevolent, and beneficent offer of the use of these radio airwaves. 844-527-8723, 844-5-CRUSADE. Email address, same as it ever has been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. By the way, Maltetia James is going to waddle. She doesn't walk, she waddles. Is going to waddle into court today. Going like, I demand this will not stand. You will dismiss this. And the judge is going to go like, let me think about that. How about no? How about you enter a plea, fatso? As it should go. Having a private conversation with a friend of mine, and he's going full on chat room on me, going like, well, what about Hillary? I'm like, well, of course Hillary should be arrested. Speaking of from the last hour. It is demonstrably true that while acting as Secretary of State, I don't know how many dozens of statutes Hillary violated. And these wouldn't be like, you're looking for technicalities. There are laws against directly or indirectly profiting from your actions as a government official or government employee or whatever that level of government title is. And she absolutely should have been made an example of. Remember Trump saying, I didn't want to have to do it. I didn't want to put the wife of an ex-president in jail. I didn't want to do it. For someone that is a Nazi and a fascist and all the other things and a dictator, that's awfully big of him because, I've talked to people that are in government and that are close to, like, in the Injustice Department and FBI agents, and they have told me, hell yeah, we could have gotten Hillary. Which is interesting considering what Charles Grassley released yesterday. We're going to go to Free Farm Friday here. I just want to make one more statement, Mitter Money. I'm coming right to you. You got to read the Grassley release. Charles Grassley declassified a document that they thought that the world would never see. It is a letter from Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, to the assistant U.S. attorney, so the woman who was the assistant to Merrick Garland. And the letter, actually, it was to the office of Merrick Garland. She just intercepted the letter. And the letter says, I think we should proceed with an SIM, whatever that is, investigation into Trump, his campaign, and all of his associates. Now, this is after Wray perjured himself in Senate testimony. I saw it and said no such letter existed. This is also after the former Attorney General said no such letter existed. All we did was investigate leads and follow the law. That's what led us to Jack Smith. Bull crap, Walter. You're lying. So by all means, get the frog meme out. But here's the rub. Ray's going to say, well, you were a citizen, dude. I was just upholding the law. I had the right and the authority to do so. What an irony when you contrast that you can't touch me. I'm the FBI director. I'm immune. Oh, but we can have Mayor Beetlejuice say that, well, we're taking photographs and dossiers and doxing ICE agents, and when Trump is gone, we're going to open the investigations and they're all going to be arrested and they're going to jail. Well, how come the ICE agents are immune? Or they're just carrying out orders? They're just carrying out orders. We have a government that is a shadow government that is not elected, doesn't answer to anyone, and needs to be destroyed. It doesn't need to be reformed. It needs to be completely and totally eliminated. That's what needs to happen. On to happier times. It is a free Farm Friday segment. Everybody sing along at home. Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spread out so far and wide. Just Manhattan, just give me that countryside. Take it.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
All right, everybody. The chores.
The stores.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
You be my wife.
Goodbye, city life.
Green Acres, we are there. Today's Free Farm Friday, we're going to talk about the price of beef. We're going to talk about cattle ranching, or as much as we can get into the subject of cattle ranching. And joining me today for Free Farm Friday is the old farmer, Mr. Dan Mundy. Mr. Mundy, I know I sent you these two stories, so let me go over the headlines, and then we will bring you on to comment. Remember, all Free Farm Friday episodes available free, charge, don't cost nothing to anyone that wishes to listen to them. And yes, we have been turning the last 12 now, into podcasts. So I know you went to the website and you looked, and it hasn't been updated since Noah's Ark. But there are 11 episodes that are there that are pretty recent here. This will make 12. Importing Argentinian beef will destroy American ranchers by Keely Cavello was one. I have this other story, Mr. Monday. American ranchers hit with gut punch as Trump follows through on Argentina beef import pledge. This is from South Dakota Searchlight. And there's another one that I have from, I guess Maggie didn't get to that one. Did you get to the Wyoming Cowboy newspaper? Thought I saw it. Sent that one. It's okay. I can read it from the screen. And then, so these are newspapers that cattle rancher types would be reading. This particular one, and I got to find it, because the other one had a great headline on it as well. And it's about ranchers that cannot believe their eyes that this is happening to them. Here it is. This is the Cowboy State Daily. Wyoming ranchers join national outcry against Trump's Argentina beef plan. Now, Mr. Monday, this doesn't say anything about the quality of Argentina beef, which I know nothing about. Do you?
Well, we all want to say that if it comes from someplace else, it's not as good as ours. What their standards are. You'd be amazed what we get away with here, too. So I don't know that I would use that as a criteria. However, we've talked before where it was legal for you and me to go down to Argentina, make a deal with a farmer, have him put a bunch of carcasses on a refrigerated container, bring it up here, have it cut out into pieces, and say it was a product of USA. So when you go buy it in the store, you go buy it at Costco, you don't know.
No, it's
you
true.
Really don't.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think that the most frustrating thing for all of us, and again, you sent me the article the other day from Joel Salatin at the Epic Times, where, Joel's writing about, I have it right here, stop the soybean bailouts. It's not very well read. It should be. Question, what does a business do when nobody wants its product or services? Answer, it asks the federal government to bail it out. Well, they're going to get a bailout, aren't they? And pay for a product nobody wants. If this sounds silly to you, consider what's going on with America's soybean farmers who lost a quarter of their market when China decided to switch sourcing to Brazil and Argentina in the past couple of months. As a farmer myself, my heart breaks for the plummeting prices and the prospect of losing $200 per acre on the 2025 crop. But on the other side of my breaking heart is a desire to hear any soybean farmer say, I'm going to grow something profitable. You would think in a capitalistic society, someone raising soybeans would recognize simple principles in supply and demand. You can't keep supplying when demand wanes. Now, Dan, we know this. The war against seed oils is full on. You can't go to a major grocery store chain now and look at products, and for example, in the mayonnaise section or wherever you go, perishables, and not see that made with no seed oils, no GMO, product of regenerative farming. We're winning the regenerative farming movement and the Back to the Land movement and the Catholic land movement. We're winning. We always had the winning argument. Well, we're winning hearts and minds because people are going like, well, maybe there's something to that. And I don't see why there would be a future for some soybean farmers. But can't you take land that you were growing soybeans on, Dan, and grow something else?
Well, they did. When you had it's funny. If you were get Mitter Simpson on here and any other financial guy, they talk about diversifying your assets.
Yes.
Well, the original farm had multiple income streams and multiple operations going on at the same time. Well, that's no longer true. And when you were speaking about this a number of weeks ago with who'd you have on, and about the commodities and the farmers, having monoculture contracts and then getting into this problem, you got to remember you just forgot to mention. I think you had asked Brian about it. It's on the other side too, because they have contracts on the other side having to buy the seed from Monsanto and everybody to do this. So it's a full circle that they put in. And I remember reading a number of months ago about some of these people who were. They're doing large farms, in South Dakota and Wyoming, where they got large plots, and they're not doing it themselves. They got people working for them. But so they're there 5 months out of the year, then they go spend the rest of the year in Arizona. So they've literally turned it into a part-time operation by creating this system. Now, is it healthy? Is it good? Is it sustainable? Got to take the win. You always say, take the win, Mitter, when we get the win. So, yes, this is, a lot of this with the seed oil stuff, it's starting to get into the public consciousness.
Yes.
But we have to manage it. Because you've heard me say, too, like the CEO of the company I'm working for, he goes to, one-day seminar at the Rodale Institute, and he goes to another one-day seminar put on by ConAgra, and suddenly he's an expert in regenerative farming. And, of course, even though our company stock's going down the tubes, he has enough time to get on the board of some other food company because he has a knowledge of regenerative farming. And, and that makes me want to vomit.
Well, let's get back to me too. Well, let's get back to the subject of cattle before we run out of time. American ranchers hit with gut punch as Trump follows through on Argentina beef import pledge. This is from the South Dakota Searchlight. This is a newspaper that is very friendly with ranchers. I want to fast forward to about 2/3 of the way to the article, and you will find this, viewers and listeners. Rancher and South Dakota State Representative Liz May said the proposals will help. She's talking about Trump's three-prong approach proposals, but won't solve all the problems in the cattle industry. Quote, you can nibble around, this is a big one here. Quote, you can nibble around the edges or you can go to the big issue. Breaking up the monopoly structure that lets meat packers dictate markets. Restore true market competition, close quote. And then she said this, it's simple, quote, enforce the Packers and Stockyards Act and dust off the Sherman and Clayton Antitrust Acts, close quote. And then the newspaper says the first law is designed to prevent unfair, deceptive, and anti-competitive practices in the livestock and meatpacking industries, and the latter are intended to prevent monopolistic practices. And then she said, finally, do that and the rest will take care of itself. That's pretty much been the theme here on Free Farm Friday, Mitter Monday.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. But but there are everything has some finesse or uniqueness to it. One of the issues with cattle is you looking at a 2-year investment,
right?
It's like you're doing wine or whiskey, whatever. This isn't something you pick.
Whiskey's 5 years.
And sell.
Bourbon is 5 years.
So there are these investments and holding periods, and what happens to markets in between then. And generally you don't have twins; you have a cow. A pig, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. Twice a year you can get 8 to 15 piglets out of it. Lambs, how about 150 days? And I'm just saying there's a nuance to cattle that doesn't apply. A chicken, 6 to 8 weeks. You don't have with some of this other livestock. So I'm not disagreeing with anything that you just read. It's just that you have to, that you got to throw that into it too. It's a little bit more difficult market than our other protein sources.
Okay, wait. She
So,
addresses that, Mitter-Mundy. Amanda Radke, again, I'm reading from the South Dakota Searchlight newspaper. Amanda Radke, a rancher near Mitchell and co-owner of Radke Cattle Company, made similar observations while saying she is excited about a number of the Trump administration's suite of actions to strengthen the beef industry. She said this, quote, "We have a packer monopoly where 85% of our beef supply is held captive by 4 major players, 2 that are foreign-owned. Ranchers don't want a handout. They just want a free and fair market." And then the story says packer concentration, as many ranchers describe it, has worsened in recent decades. In 1980, the top 4 beef packers accounted for about 35% of cattle purchases. Today, it's 85%. The packers will benefit from this, not the consumers, she said. Again, this is all about the power of the federal government has been used in state after state and in farm after farm, no matter what it is that you're talking about. The USDA has got its grubby mitts in there, and Big Ag has been the benefactor. That's just the fact. And if you're not, and I can't imagine that an administration and an HHS, USDA that is willing to take on Pfizer and the big pharma doesn't have the stomach to take on Archer Daniels Midland and ConAgra, Mitter-Mundy.
One would think, but and this started. I mean, I got 8th grade history teacher, Mr. Glazner. Everybody called him Ranger Rick because he had a cowboy hat and he'd grown up and spent time out west. And he told me one day, because he would talk to me about this stuff, that he it was originally considering becoming a rancher and had guys out there to help set them up and get some land and get an average size plot and all. I forget all the details he told me. He said, back then he said, we would have made about $17,000 a year. In 1970, that wasn't a horrible wage.
Right.
But he decided not to do it, and because they saw it coming around that time that this is what was going to happen, and he just made the decision not to do it. And lo and behold, like everything, it's overregulated towards people who feel they can grab a bigger piece of the pie, and that's a hard one to fight when they get really big.
Well, there's a reason that the Sherman antitrust acts are on the books. It's specifically to avoid. It was supposedly to stop the robber barons, who were never really in danger of the kind of monopoly that we're talking about here today. The fact that 2 entities, there's a Chinese company that owns, what's the big, I wish Brian Kay was here because he knows the name, but what's the big pork meat facility in North Carolina? Swift? Is it Swift?
Smithfield. Well,
Smithfield. No, Smithfield.
Yeah,
Smithfield is not owned by the Smiths. Don't own it anymore.
Years ago.
Oh no,
years ago they sold it.
Hey, a Chinese corporation owns Smithfield. Hey, we are going a Chinese cow, a Chinese pig, and ship over on container ship. Most people don't know this. You see anything that's bought and sold by Smithfield, you have to wonder, why is the government of the United States even allowing this? That's one question. Number 2, where's the truth in label? This is a company that is owned by the Chinese. They own one of the 85% meat packing share. So you could say that about a quarter of American meat is under the control of the Chinese Communist Party. That's a problem. And it needs to be eliminated. You got to eliminate it. You can't don't deal with it. Eliminate it.
Well, and the way they do it, I think we mentioned that before too. They're over in China building these multi-story buildings. The little piglets start up at the top, and as they grow, they work their way down. And when they get to the last floor, they're loaded on the truck and taken away. It's literally a vertical operation, and it can't be good. It can't be good.
And then if you go to the Wyoming Cowboy, you get a similar story, and the Wyoming Cowboy story says, this is Cowboy State Daily. This guy says, my qualm isn't with President Trump himself. He can't know everything, right? Just like every other president who came before him or anybody else. They're all trying to understand. And the beef economy, whoever's advising him in this regard, did a really piss-poor job and managed to draw the ire of most of the ranching world. And then, you know what, Mitter-Mundy, hang on. It's a quick break, a quick timeout. We'll come right back, and we'll do a little bit more Freefarm Friday here on the other side of the timeout here. If you have a question or comment, crusadechannel.com/chat or 844-527-8723.
It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Friday, October 24th, 2025. This report is brought to you by Mike Church's Beast and Butt Rub, a rub that's won championships and will help make you a champ in your kitchen or backyard. Check out Mike's recipes and pick up a bottle or 6 today at shop.mikechurch.com. In the market report, the Dow closed up 0.31%, the S&P was up 0.58%, NASDAQ also climbed 0.89%. Today, on October the 24th, National Food Day challenges us to explore, enjoy, and celebrate the food we eat. It's a day to focus on healthy, nutritious, and sustainable foods that are not only good for us, but for the planet as well. So today, you're reminded to eat real. So you gotta stay away from that fast food drive-thru. Today is National Bologna Day. It comes from its birthplace, Bologna, Italy. The original Italian sausage, mortadella, is finely ground pork sausage dotted with flavorful cubes of lard and often pistachios, a true Italian delicacy. It's also National Pharmacy Buyer Day. Our quote of the day: the secret of happiness is to live moment by moment and to thank God for all that He, in His goodness, sends to us day after day. Saint Gianna Molla. And our saint of the day is one of 3 archangels mentioned in the Bible, Raphael. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
Okay, please enter the 9-digit 2-step authorization code we just emailed you. What do you mean, prove I'm human? Okay, that's a car. That's a car. That's a car. Those are not cars. Please try again. Oh my gosh. I'll show you. Try again, stupid piece of AI mother. Here, try this.
Jim, what are you doing? Good grief, man. This isn't Office Space the movie. What are you trying to do?
I just wanted to send the KingDude a donation through the stupid computer.
Like Trump, the KingDude makes everything better, including donating, which you can now do by mail.
Mail? They still have that?
Of course they do, and the KingDude's keeping the ponies running on time and in business. Just snail mail your donation to P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
Ha! And you can't. You're such a boomer. Me this time. And wait a minute. I know they're around here somewhere. There! Ha-ha!
Dude, those are airmail stamps from the movie Airplane. Surely you have...
Of course I do. And don't call me Shirley. The Crusade Radio Guild is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, so your donations are tax deductible. Donate today, the Crusade Radio Guild, P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana 70447. While Trump continues to try and make America great again
by doing Mortal Kombat with the Clinton, Comey, and Clapper crime families.
You forgot the...
Nope, did not. And the King of Russia treason, the Obama father.
Well, we'll always be there for you with the best live coverage and commentary in media on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio,
the way it should be.
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Since I
And just like that, we're back. Final segment of the week. Mike Church Show is on. Thanking all of you again for helping us hit our equipment fundraising goal. We'll do all that we can to continue providing you the greatest in radio and television broadcasting and keeping it ethical. We're right in the middle of a Free Farm Friday segment with Mitter Monday, so I want to get back to that so we can wrap up here today in a timely fashion because it's been one heck of a long broadcasting week and a really good one. We had a great Mitter Monday. We had a great Free Farm Friday last night. Thursday night throwdown. Speaking of cattle and cattle ranchers, because we talked about the Great American Hamburger, and of course you don't get the Great American Hamburger without Great American Beef. And all of this talk that we have here today about the price of beef going up and the challenges that the cattle ranchers face. And again, it's surprising to me. You were there the night that we broadcasted. RFK Jr. had a roundtable, and he had Will Harris, he had Joel Salatin, he had Dave the Good. He had there was 8 ranchers in there, and they all told him what the problem was with American farmers, and he listened intently. So, I have to think that at some level that some of this is going to get done, but this is just big ag. I'm just guessing here. Big ag is still powerful enough to, at the very least, delay it.
I'm sure that's part of it, but I also believe, my first take on it, they're still posturing for the midterm elections, and gas is down. They want eggs are, eggs are down. He wants to be able to say beef is down too. I hate to say that that's the maneuvering they're doing, but I think that has a lot to do with it also.
So back to so if you to get to the heart of the matter here, there's 2 stories that I have that play on this. This is number one. There is a story at thefederalist.com today. Big government locks young people out of the American dream. Now, you're going like, what does that have to do with cattle ranchers and their planet? It has everything to do with it. Listen to this. Government regulations directly increase the cost of housing, accounting for $93,870 of the $394,300 average price of a new home in the United States in 2021. About a quarter the home's cost, notes Paul Emerath, Ph.D., and a study for the National Association of Home Builders. What do you reckon, Mitter Monday, is the cost in direct regulation to America's cattle ranchers? Because they have to go to a USDA licensed and certified butcher, right? If they want to sell it on the open market and to chain grocery stores and what have you here, that's what they have to do. And you have to book it a year, sometimes 2 years out. And of course, this benefits the monopolies because they have their own USDA slaughterhouses.
I probably should know that, but I don't. Are they adding 35-40% of the cost to the farmer?
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine a quarter, 25% sounds reasonable. And why would we? This is farming we're talking about. What do you need to regulate? It's farming. I have lettuce growing in my backyard. I planted last week. Right now, what regulator do I need to tell me how to grow the lettuce? And when it grows, God willing, I'm going to eat it. And if I have extra, I'm going to give it to Chad next door, and he's going to eat it. Or maybe I'll bring it to the farmer's market. This is ridiculous. We're acting as though farming and feeding people is something new and that the modern world must regulate, must sanitize. Somehow the human race has survived since Noah on the current methods that we have of farming. So, I would imagine that regulation is a massive, and of course the regulation benefits the big guy. The little guy the little guy can never afford or survive the regulation. The big guy always can, which is why so many ranchers just give up and say, well, okay, we'll just buy my herd.
Well, anybody that's gotten, we'll say, bigger, like a Will Harris, like a Salad, not somebody like me, who has a few of these and a few of those. anybody that's gotten bigger, but it certainly is not one of the big guys. The only way they've been able to make it is doing direct sales and setting themselves for their own process. Guy out in California, we had a Zoom call with when I was up at Rodale and stuff. And the only way they were able to do it was set up their own operation.
Yep.
And that's a big commitment. And it's, I think Will Harris, when I saw him, I think, his operation does around $30-35 million a year. So, and to keep all that going and people, all the people he has to employ, to maintain it. But that's the only way any of these guys have been able to make it in that form.
Okay, so
me selling a few chickens and a few pigs, yeah, it's fun, but it's not. It's not.
Understood.
I still have to find local slaughterhouses, and I still get it. It still comes back stamped when I get it back, even though I may be selling to somebody else. It says not for sale.
And from the Cowboy State Daily, former state legislator Tyler Lindum told the Cowboy State Daily, Lindum said if Trump really wants to make meaningful progress on affordable beef prices for consumers, the right place to look isn't other countries, it's regulatory reform right here at home. Quote, there's a regulatory issue in almost every economy. And much like any economy, if we got an issue in an economy where the prices are skyrocketing and things are getting out of hand, we should not be looking first and foremost on how to prop up that scenario, right? The scenario right now, Lindum said, are regulations which have led to 4 big meat packing plants owning 80% of America's cattle herds before processing. Combine that with regulations that are restricting the sale of state-inspected meat across state lines, even though state inspections have to follow federal guidelines. The cure to the market ills those situations are causing is to change the regulations. Those regulations have created a monopoly, and we should break that monopoly's back. And that's it. And they have a subheading in here, grocery store money doesn't make it to the ranch. While recent cattle auction prices have been above average this year, the high prices that consumers see in grocery stores don't necessarily translate into a payday for ranchers. That's a disconnect Americans need to understand better. And he says, quote, cattle futures and cattle prices are just like any other commodity. And cattle ranchers, farmers, etc., have worked their tails off for decades trying to get to this price point to where you can actually afford to keep cattle ranching. I mean, I think everyone looks across the American West and they're not seeing a bunch of people jumping into ranching all of a sudden. It's not like it's a make money quick scheme or anything like that. Well, and I think that's where we'll leave it off, and we'll try to get some cattle ranchers on to talk about the nitty-gritty details of this. What he's pointing out, Dan, the biggest obstacle is, and I know this because I know a slaughterhouse here in Louisiana, and he told me this is the rub. He can butcher Maggie's dad's cows. We can sell that butchered meat in a Louisiana-owned grocery store, but as long as you get the proper Louisiana Department of Agricultural stamping on it and labeling, you can sell that meat. What you can't do is you can't drive it from Lake Charles to Beaumont and sell it in a Texas store. That's what you are not allowed to do. So the only way you can do this, like let's just take one example that I just happen to personally know of. The great Hall of Fame baseball player Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan raises beef. I think he's trying to do it regeneratively. Nolan Ryan's beef is a little pricey, but it's really good. Nolan is going to, probably because of his name, he is able to get his stuff slaughtered at a USDA certified slaughterhouse because they ship it from Texas into Louisiana, and it says USDA certified. I don't care. I wouldn't care if it said Texas certified. It would not matter to me. And I don't think it would matter to most consumers. This is the regulation that's got to be fixed.
No, and there's another way around it, which is what I do, and I mean, it wouldn't work on a big scale. If you're miniature, the Kopkas are going to get some. I mean, they can have it slaughtered wherever they want. I may recommend a place, but I am selling you a live animal, and I am providing the service of transporting it to a butcher for you. That's how you get around it.
Yes.
No, you're not going to do that, and then do a Will Harris or Salad and Size operation. But me doing half a dozen of this or 4 of those or whatever, I can get away with it. That's the only other way I can do it here. And I have my stuff slaughtered in Pennsylvania, but most people who buy it are in Jersey. But remember, I'm not having it butchered. I'm providing a service to you.
So,
but you're right. It's got to change. It's got to be changed. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous. And then, there is the issue of scale. We talk about that all the time. You want to keep all of this in scale. I told my friend whose slaughterhouse is in New Lalano. There's 2 L's, A-N-O, right outside of Fort Polk, Louisiana. I told him, I said, Copeland, dude, why could then just encourage local ranchers to bring their stuff to you? Slaughter it or sell it in the state. I don't care if it ever leaves the state. I think that we should have beef ranchers and cattle ranchers every place in the U.S., and it's practical everywhere, which is why, as you pointed out 1.5 million times, you have different levels or different breeds of cows. You have your Jerseys, you have your Guernseys, you have your Brahman, you have your Angus, you have whatever. They're all made for they will survive and flourish in that particular climate, right? That's correct. There's hardly a climate where a cow has not been adapted to survive. So every environment can have cattle access to beef nearby. And I would think at one point in time that's probably the way it was in America. It's not that way anymore because of trains and trucks and prisons and getting drunk. No. It's just that I think that what we're on to with Free Farm Friday, which is local and regional and state at the biggest, is still the way to look at it. That's if you go in that order, find yourself a local rancher like we are. And I got to tell you, the Sinagra farm is flourishing here locally. He sells all of the milk he brings to market. And this is the guy that sells the raw milk that we can buy. And we bought a container yesterday. The community is supporting that local farmer. And I think really that's the solution that Washington, that the big ags will have to get crafty and figure out ways to regulate and at the state level to get rid of. And we can fight them better there than we can in Congress. So I think that's where we ought to go. That's where we ought to. Let's turn this hulking ship of cattle state in that direction. Miramonte, thank you for being with us here today on another Free Farm Friday. I'm sure you have a final comment, so yes, go ahead.
God bless everybody. Have a great weekend. That's it. I'm tired, Mike. It's been a hard week. Go have a hamburger.
It's Friday. I can't. Tomorrow we'll have hamburgers.
All right. Well, tomorrow I'll have a lamb burger.
Tomorrow I will have a lamb burger. All right, brother. All right. Thank you, Miramonte. That's the old farmer there. All previous Free Farm Friday episodes are available as podcast at crusadechannel.com in the podcast. I didn't know that. Is T. Doug selling, is that locally raised pork?
Yeah. So he has that restaurant, right?
Well, I know he added a deli.
So he opened the restaurant, but he added next to it is a meat market where he sells only locally sourced meat.
Okay.
And they use your friend as the butcher. That's where he gets it from.
So Copeland is actually doing the slaughtering for him. It's interesting here that when Copeland and when my friend and his dad, when they bought that slaughterhouse, they're very, very, very hesitant about it. People in the family were like, "That's nuts! Don't do it." Who wants to run a slaughterhouse? Another interesting part about that particular family buying that particular slaughterhouse was that he went and learned how to slaughter and butcher cows by volunteering to help the Mennonites. So that's what he did. He went to there's a community of Mennonites right down the road, from the, I say right down the road, 12, 15 miles down the road. 12, 15 miles down the road from where Maggie, where Walsingham West is going to be. And he went and he told them, he said, I want to learn how to slaughter. I know you guys do your own slaughtering. You don't job it out. And by the way, you know what else the Mennonites don't do? They don't sell their beef. They sell their milk, but they don't sell their beef and their pork. And they pretty much keep it all there internally for their own use. And that's how they are able to, that's how they feed themselves. So they said, yeah. They told him, yeah. They said, if you want to learn, come on in. Which is interesting that they did that because he's a Catholic and they're Mennonites. But apparently, I guess it never came up in conversation. But in any event, if you have the right kind of knives, I saw 2 cows. I watched the whole process start to finish. They even gave me the little cap I had to wear and everything, and they were telling me, now look, don't get anywhere near this area here. When he got back on the back rear end, the rear roast side, he told me, he goes, that fat that is under that ginormous muscle right there, when I cut that and that fat comes out and hits the ground, it is the slickest substance known to man. He goes, you're going to see me after it's all come out and it's drained, I'm going to throw a mat down, a rubber mat, like a stand-on mat, a fatigue mat. I'm going to throw it down on top of it so I don't ever have to stand on it, because he goes, I can't stand on it. So there's all manner of hazards to this stuff, and I imagine if you're not doing it where it's a concrete floor, then it just gets into the ground, into the dirt or whatever, and you don't get that kind of stuff doesn't happen. In any event, it's an interesting process to watch them get the skin off of that. You know, Americans have also lost something in this. American-made leather. Where'd the leather come from? American cows. What do they do with the skin now? Throw it away. I asked him, I said, what are you going to do with all the skin? Is that going to get tanned and made into leather hide? He goes, it should be. And he goes, I can't give it away. I said, really? He goes, nope, no one will take it. He said, the only part of this slaughter that I can actually give away is the innards. And that's to the dog food company that will come by and get it. He goes, they used to pay us for it, but now they won't even pay us for it. So now we just have to put it in a reefer outside, and they will come by and they pick it up. The stuff that I learned in spending one day at an American slaughterhouse, everybody should do it. So you can see, well, that's where your beef comes from. He goes, you want to see what a ribeye is? I'm like, yep. He goes, ribeye's going to come off right here. This is where your filet is. He goes, what's left over there, that's going to be your strip. And then here's your chuck roast. And he goes, I'm going to take all of this and we're going to grind all that. That's where your ground chuck is going to come from. It's a fascinating process. Really, everyone should have to, you should be required to earn citizenship. Before you can vote, you got to watch a cow being slaughtered. I've already seen the pigs. Did you know at the St. Benedict Center that they slaughtered one of Sister Maria Filomena's pigs? They've been doing that. Well, they did it for this year for the pulled pork. Oh, cool. And because I'm like, man, this pulled pork is really good. It's got a great taste to it. He goes, well, it should. It was grown right here. All right, let's play some, go to Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor. But before we do that, I want to play this digital media file. Play, you know what, just for it is Friday, play 12. Jesse Waters and Kid Rock. It's a Friday. We could all use a little comic relief.
We're hearing from sources that you might be the one to be the first to play in the big, beautiful ballroom. Is that true?
Man, I hope so. Ball till you fall. That's what I say.
Can you believe people are getting this worked up over a ballroom?
Well, I've heard all the talking points like you have from the left wing, especially the media, which is, this is the people's house. That is correct. That is the people's house. And guess what? We, the people, elected this man overwhelmingly to be in that house. And he's going to build a big, beautiful addition. It's not going to take any of the taxpayers' money to do it. And thank God, if he's going to sidestep a few regulations, which I don't know that to be a fact, but I wouldn't be mad at him. I've built some things and trying to get things done with I can only imagine the regulations if he tried to do it all exactly by the book. It'd be like, all he has to do is say, we're going to put in a gender-neutral bathroom, and they'll be like, oh, we love your ballroom idea.
I think that the point, Magdalene, that needs to be made is that the leftards in the Democrat Party just hate America. They really do. They hate everything that is good about it, and building structures that are going to outlive Trump, that's just a bridge too far. No one wants that thing to be known as the wing that Trump built. And it's always going to be the wing that Trump built, and that actually shows, hey, we're doing really good in America. Hey, look, we added on to our White House. Why don't you come and visit? The leftards just don't want anything to do with anything that is uniquely American and uniquely successful.
Well, they don't. And if you think back after the first administration, they did things like they would erase his picture from the lineup of presidents. They would try to skip him over in history classes. There was a real effort to erase him and say it was sort of like a one-off crazy moment. But then he got elected again. And I think Republicans at this point, they're never going to disavow Donald Trump. 5 years ago, there were still Republicans who would disavow Donald Trump. Now they are the fringe. The people who are against him or against, populism, they've become the fringe of the Republican Party in a massive switch. So the bigger the legacy he leaves, the harder it is for Democrats to erase it. Democrats also don't have I don't think they have the Hollywood people capital anymore to have that kind of erasing go on.
And you know what else has happened? The fake the fake Republicans, the neocons, or what have you. Your David Frums, your brain spasm. What is his name? The son, Bill Kristol's, your David Frum, these people, your Max Boots, these people were all frauds to begin with. They were always leftards. They just claimed to be Republicans. They're all Democrats now.
Well, they are, and I think that's because they had no backing. And think back to the Lincoln Project, for example. They poured tens of millions of dollars into that. And it produced literally nothing. And not only that, because of the spotlight it put on those people who are running it, every dirty thing they'd ever done in their whole lives came out. It's no longer even profitable to be anti-Trump on the Republican side.
Yeah, and then you have these lunatics are out there going, this looks like something right out of Nazi Germany. A ballroom? How does a ballroom... When did the Germans somehow corner the market on constructing ballrooms? I must admit, at one point in time, I thought. What's that, Maggie?
I said most professionally done ballrooms look the same. They have a similar aesthetic to them.
Pretty much. Flooring is one thing. High ceilings is the other. Chandeliers, that sort of thing you see in a ballroom. What exactly is objectionable to the Capitol, to the executive building having a ballroom that you can have events in? I remember seeing a video of the Carpenters, Karen and Richard Carpenter, playing their song On Top of the World at the Nixon White House at President Nixon's invitation in 1973. And they could only play in that, and that room is small. Like Trump said, you can't even fit 75 people in that room. So they just cram a little stage in there, and they're able to do it. Well, imagine that, you could bring someone in, and I don't know who he would bring in, but if you did bring some musical, hopefully it's classical, good musical talent in there, that actually have room to play. And what's wrong with having a little dance every now and then? And again, These are people that are just not happy or comfortable with anything that's good, true, and beautiful, and anything that looks successful that is American. That's really what's going on here.
It is, and I read an article recently that was sort of talking about the idea that high culture is dead, that the left killed it, because you can't have high society things, you can't have high culture things or classical beauty if you're also importing the third world. And that's kind of the
That's a
undercurrent
great
here.
point.
There's an issue here in that the left needs these kinds of like beautiful things. Like if you think about the balls in Vienna, I know people who have been to them, who go to Austria and all of that, and they talk about the fact that it's not very, very wealthy people who go there. People buy dresses. They get them at thrift stores a lot of times in Vienna, and they go to them with their boyfriends or whatnot, and it's a beautiful night. We're not allowed to have any of that because we have to constantly be courting, like, Zohran Mamandi's culture instead of our own.
Well, and okay, there's something to that when it comes to the South. Before the Southern culture was destroyed in favor of Honey Boo Boo, Rebel Flags, and Kid Rock, there were things in the South like debutante parties and debutante balls. Now people are going to shake their heads and go like, "Come on, chick ID, what do you want next? You want knights jousting?" Well, not a bad idea. I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. But the point is that you had these cultural clubs. You had institutions. You had the junior league. You had, and there are still junior leagues, and they did put on coming out parties. It was different then, though. Magdalene, a coming out party for a young lady was her turn in making her sweet 16, right? She was then eligible for the young men to court. Imagine that. Imagine that! To court!
And I don't know if you've seen that there's a show called The Gilded Age on HBO Max, which is actually like very, very appropriate. There's nothing inappropriate, and there's not even really any swearing. And it's basically set in the time period where you would have the beginning of great wealth in America, like the Rockefellers and things. And the entire thing is about society and the beautiful dresses and like the dollar princesses that married off to aristocrats in Europe. But that's really the whole thing. Is a #1 show on HBO Max for years. They're in their 3rd season now. You can't tell me there isn't a craving for that type of life when then a show that really you could air on Masterpiece, if that's appropriate, is #1 in America. Those two things don't make sense.
Okay, I didn't catch the name of the show on HBO Max, so I want to sample it. The Gilded Age. Okay, got it. Maggie, I want Magdalene to comment on digital media file number 14. This is switching a little bit of a subject here. But I think that this story is not going away. And again, I'm going to ask the question, how do you propose that this is the case you're going to bring to the midterm electors? Elect us, and we're going to have kangaroo court trial, Nuremberg trials for ICE agents, and we're going to set all the illegal aliens free and invite the ones that we kicked out back? Who in the hell is coming up with this plan? Watch this.
Start the process of unmasking the agents. Even though they're wearing masks, every single one of them has a towel.
You say unmasking, they're going to say you're going to dox them, and that's why threats against them are up.
They are on public property, out in the open. We have an absolute right under our Constitution to be able to document what's happening. Every single one of those agents, height, weight, hair color, they wear their vests in a particular way. They're wearing insignias. Even the masks that they wear, the shoes that they wear, the cars that they're driving. We have a right to compile that information and put together a profile of each of these agents that's alleged to have committed crime. This is not about doxing them. This is not about putting them.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure we're going to hear that. But as residents of this city in the metropolitan area, we have a right to know who's doing what, and supposedly in our name, but we believe that they are committing crimes and it needs to be investigated, and then let a grand jury, let the prosecutor make a determination.
Are you saying you're going to compile this information and then take legal action, civil action?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to compile the information, and hopefully it's going to compel local law enforcement, the state's attorney, and others to do their jobs and investigate the allegations of serious crimes being committed.
I am aware of not a single solitary crime being committed by an ICE agent. The only crime I'm aware of is idiots like you trying to get ICE agents doxxed so they get killed. That's the crime that I'm aware of here. These people, this is insane. This is the kind of delusion here. You're going to bring this to this is what you're going to, this is your platform. This is your midterm platform. Elect us and we're going to unmask ICE agents so we can have kangaroo court grand juries, and we're going to bring them up in charges in every blue district in the United States, and we're going to make them all blue. So put us back in charge. People vote for things. Yeah. That's not a for thing. They talk about Trump taking his revenge out. They're planning a revenge.
Oh, yeah, they are. And, I think in a lot of ways, after Charlie Kirk was killed, Charlie Kirk's memorial and everything, it was so positive in a lot of ways. I think that we kind of missed the sorrow of what happened. And what we're dealing with here, this kind of reaction, after he was assassinated, this should no longer be being said. It should have changed the game. And I think, as Catholics, we understand the need to show the sorrow of what we lost. Orthodox understand this as well, Christian Orthodox. I think that what happened with that memorial was, in a lot of ways, the Protestantism came out. People were very joyful about it. And they missed the point, which was that political violence in America against conservatives had just taken one of our leaders. Now we're dealing with the fallout of the left no longer having to be held accountable for that. And
that's
they're
right.
going to get more extreme because they've had success. I would have liked to see that memorial have a little bit more sorrowfulness and a little bit less actual fireworks.
Well, I think that's a good point. That's a really profound point. Just like I think David Marcus earlier today when I was seeing my old buddy David saying that, you have people that are just miserable and they don't want anyone to be happy or successful. And when you see, a beautiful addition to a White House, that's something that goes oh, well, they're doing good things. Yeah, but there are people still struggling. Well, there are always going to be people struggling. Again, I'm just going to reiterate for the benefit of people that haven't heard me say it before. The right, conservatives, and certainly Christians should be rising to the challenge, ringing the phones off the hook right now of anyone that will hear their plea to take it public in the media and to say that, hey, if the SNAP food is not coming through, don't worry about it. We got this. We'll feed you. Come to our church. We're going to open a soup kitchen up here at this building. Go to that parish. Go to this rectory here, wherever. If you can't get out of your house, we'll bring it. We'll have meals and we'll bring it to you. Christians in America could bring an end. If we all just did what I just said, we could bring an end to the welfare state. Take it back and say, Mr. President, Congress, get rid of it. We don't need it. We just proved that we don't need it. And I think that is where you brought this up yesterday. Where is the domestic leadership on this? I don't care about what's going on in Israel any longer. I just don't want any more slaughtering in Gaza. I want it to end just like everyone else. I don't want their land taken from them. I want domestic leadership. Domestic leadership, to me, is not importing Argentinian beef, and that's where we are. All right, we're going to go lightning round here. Maggie, play number 15, and that's going to be it. And I want Magdalene's take on this, because this really is the subject. This is important. This is the one. Magdalene Rose, you and I, and people of your generation, we need to have a symposium. We need to have a forum. We need to have people talking about this in every media. This actually matters, and he's right. You have to address this. I don't know how you're going to fix it, but I know if you don't make an attempt to fix it, then he's right. This is a disaster. Play it.
Half of 30-year-olds in 1960 owned a home and were married. Today, only 15% of 30-year-olds own a home and are married. Doesn't matter what the stock market does, doesn't matter what the GDP figures are for this quarter. If that figure does not go from 15% higher and fast, we are in a whole lot of trouble.
That's James Fishback, if you didn't get it. That's the problem. There it is right there.
Yes, that is. And I've been following James, and I think his position on Florida is also interesting. He's basically saying, tell people to stop moving there. Yep. We have to get things to be more affordable there. So he's got good points across the board. I think he's a rising star. And I will say that the home ownership crisis is a problem. And this is what I meant by, the focus on domestic issues. I think that Trump has begun to define himself as a peace bringer. Totally true. That is true. But he wasn't elected necessarily to bring peace. He was elected, in my mind, in the minds of millions of Republicans, to sort of inoculate us against what goes on in the world. America is unique in that we don't really need anything from anyone else.
Nope.
We have oil, we have agriculture, we have meat. We don't actually, like, there might be delicacies we want, but in terms of surviving and even thriving, we don't need anything else. So this war in Russia and Ukraine, Trump is doing a readout today. He said it's like his number one priority. Why? Like, this is the question. Why is it your number one priority? Why is housing prices not your number one priority? And the 15% he's mentioning, I will tell you, the majority of them own a home because family has assisted them in doing so. So they tend to be young Christians specifically. There's a big group in Arkansas. There are groups in Wyoming. So those are not like there was 15% of young Americans who are able to do it on their own. There's 15% of young Americans who have family support to do it.
Well, here's what I would like to add. That here's what I would say, and this is a volatile issue. And whenever you bring it up, people's ears start turning red at the tips, and everyone has an opinion on it, and they want to talk about it. I cannot imagine that the MAGA people aren't the same. We don't need Lara Loomers as our stars. We need James Fishbacks. We don't need the other ones out there that are all about Israel and Russia and the peace and all that. Maggie, who's the guy that you were watching trying to talk to, the financial guy who was telling the dreamers going like, you're just idiots. Now get out. Caleb Hammer. We need Caleb Hammers. Caleb Hammer needs to be on the Mike Church show. He needs to come on here and talk to me about this. And he and I'm a smart guy. He's a smart guy. We can start figuring out how to address this problem and get people interested in it. You know, politicians respond to public pressure. They don't like people calling them. They don't like people writing them. And they don't like people just generally being up in their business. They just want to be literal. They just want to be left alone. Don't leave them alone. And force the issue. I demand that you do something about it. The first thing you can do about it is get the federal government out of housing closures. You know how many documents you got to sign? It takes you an average about 4 hours to close on a new home or a home that you buy, an existing home. Do you know why?
No.
Well, because you have to sign about 400 documents. The lawyers have to explain them to you. This is a federal statement saying that if this land is ever claimed as a wetland, you're going to surrender it. Well, no, I'm not signing that. Well, then you can't. And literally, they have a document like that. The fact that that HUD is involved, and I read the stat earlier, $97,000 out of so the average home price is $394,000. That's got to go down. Has to go down. $93,870. Let's round it up and call it 94. Let's be a Democrat. We'll round it up. 94,000 of that is federal regulations. What business is it of the federal government? What I do, where I buy my home, where it's located, or how far above sea level, or anything else? What business is it of theirs? And why are they regulating it? Well, if you can get them out of that business, you can knock 25% off the sale of any home today. That's doable. So there's a 25% haircut right there. Why is no one talking about that?
Well, because they don't want to get into the weeds about the real cost of homes. Homes, yes, have gone up because of the cost of supplies. That is true. But there's not much else there. And I think one of the problems is that property taxes have also expanded. So take a state like New Hampshire, for example. It's ranked so highly in family, like family goodness here. You can have a good family. There's okay job opportunities. But if you try to purchase a home, the property taxes that you're drowning in are obscene. And I see the argument like states like this and other states, well, there's no income tax. Well, if you have no income tax, there are repercussions to that. And I think one of the things that's happened here is the Republican policy on trying to lower home costs is so disjointed. We have people doing 6 different things in 6 different places.
Yes.
And it's caused massive confusion. So if there's no unilateral effort, like with the heartbeat bills, we knew exactly what we were trying to do. We had a system of bills that we pushed across the country for heartbeat bill legislation. We should have the same type of thing to lower homes. Obviously, you adjust based on what region you're in. but there's no unilateral effort, so everything is a mess.
And I completely agree with James Fishback. Stop moving to Florida. Governor DeSantis' bravado aside, stop moving to Florida. Yeah. You need to stop. Okay, so are we out to Caleb Hammer? Have we invited him to be a guest?
I don't think so. I can reach out, though. I'll DM him.
In the message, you tell him that I said he needs to be on this show. Otherwise, he's a coward. So come and sit down with an adult. Come and sit down with an elder, and let's you and I talk about this, Caleb, and let's help young people figure out, or let's at least get some people, your people excited, us older people excited, who will tell their kids, you guys need to listen to Caleb, okay? And then Caleb's people, you young people need to listen to the KingDude. There's wisdom and solutions on both sides of the age divide. That's your sales pitch to him. Got it?
Yeah, and I've seen his slow radicalization to right wing. It's like when he started Financial Audit, he was very middle ground, and now he says things to illegal aliens couples who come on how are you not paying any taxes? What are you doing? And he's become slightly more red pilled. I see the evolution. He's about to turn 30. I think it's going to get worse for him.
Well, it's going to get better, not worse. That's better. All right. You know what? I'm going to invite this guy that wrote this article here, S.T. Karnick, because he has a lot of great stuff in his Federalist article about that subject. Magdalene, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Hugs and kisses to Benna. We'll see you Monday, God willing.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Folks, it's been a very long, rough week here. We have produced some amazing content here for you guys this week. I invite you all to take in my interview with Susie Pinto yesterday. God bless One Nation Under God of News Nation. How you like that? We made a connection with News Nation. And my interview with Sister Marie Gabrielle on her book, Spes Nostra. Those are two great videos that are on the YouTube channel. There are podcasts of them as well at crusadechannel.com. I will get them on the Crusade video. You don't have to go looking on the video channel. I will get them embedded this morning. But those two interviews, great conversations all week long. When news breaks out, we're going to break in. We were able, thanks to you, to raise the funds to upgrade the equipment, and we'll have a backup again. Thanks for all of that, and we'll continue the conversation and the discussion about the gambling. Yes, your host predicted it, but it was easy to predict. I was just simply channeling that. Look, human behavior says, if you put that temptation out there and there's not a counter moral alternative, men are going to do it. And I don't think that they scratch 1/5 of the cheating and rigging that's going on. So we'll talk about all of this as the dialogue goes along. Sermon Sunday. You people, you asked for Sermon Sunday podcast. They're not all there, but there are many of them there. I don't see anyone downloading them after the fact. You know, we also got the sisters from the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart to do the Saint of the Day. That is a half an hour out of my day every day to produce that. That doesn't just the Saint of the Day fairy doesn't produce that. I say that to you to encourage you. Why aren't you sharing this? The Saint of the Day is neutral to all people of the Christian faith. Everyone should know that the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart and their beautiful little voices are voicing the podcast version. That podcast ought to have 35,000 followers already. It has 3. So you can find it on Apple Podcast. Look for Sermon Sunday. Just follow Sermon Sunday. Thanks for being with us today, and thanks for all of your prayers and your support. Have a safe and blessed remainder of the day and the weekend. Hopefully LSU is going to come back and beat Texas A&M tomorrow and end the disgraceful season that we're having. No football, Hiroshima Monday. We'll see you guys soon. As news breaks out, we'll break in. Websites at crusadechannel.com. Store is at shop.mikechurch.com. God bless you. Merry keep you.